All right. Welcome to ABL Live. My name is Anthony Brian Logan. Thank you for joining me tonight. We got a few topics on deck. I just saw the news recently that a federal judge in Texas said that Obamacare is unconstitutional. So are we going to get refunds for having to pay Obamacare? Are we going to get refunds for the taxes that we spent if we did not get it in years past? Are we going to have Obamacare in the near future? What's going to be the result of this ruling? The border situation with the little girl dying, they're trying to say it's the United States' fault, it's Donald Trump's fault, it's the border agent's fault. But let's look into what was really going on with the whole situation. You don't die of dehydration, sepsis, shock, liver failure within a few hours. That is a thing that has been going on for a very long time. In reality, if the border agents did not rescue those 163 people, you probably would have had more deaths. But you got these individuals coming on television talking about, oh, we need to fix the immigration policy or there's going to be more deaths. What do you mean? We're giving you free medical care, food, water, clothing, shelter, all that. What more can we do for that situation? DJ Vlad mentioned us in the video. You know, most of you guys, I think, don't know who he is. And that's a good thing. So we got a few more topics like Trump's urban council and more. But we get into that on today's episode of ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining. Definitely appreciate you. If you don't know me, my name is Anthony Brian Logan. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. It helps out a tremendous amount that you may not even know. If you're not clicking on the bell, if the bell has been declicked, if you've been debelled, make sure that you click on the bell to make sure it's active, so you're able to get notifications anytime I go live post a new video. Some of you guys have said that you've been unsubscribed from me. You have been debelled. I don't know what's going on. YouTube does whatever it wants. So just make sure that you're subscribed, belled, all that good stuff. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that's in the building. Alrighty, who we got in the building? We got Black Dynamite, Willman 757, Yellow Submarine, Desert Mauve, Waylon, Tiny, Honest Abe, Ekview 19, Ray Mondell, Zetoch's King Sword, Jose Pagan, D. Dixon, Shreves, Dan Jocelyn, George Gutierrez, Tanya, JB. All right. Thank you to everybody who's here. I really, really appreciate it. John Smith, James D. What's going on? All right. Have fun. Play guitar. Shout out to you, Deion Sams. Oh, yeah. So shout out to everybody that's in here. Brian Murphy, Maya, what's going on? Dusty Dude, Shirley Ford. Thank you to everybody that's here. Obamacare, unconstitutional. I want to see what the result of this is going to be. You know, are we going to have an Obamacare repeal? I think we've already gotten rid of the individual mandate. But what about Obamacare in total? I may do a video about this. I have played Red Dead. Who was that just said that? I have played Red Dead, John Smith. I put it down way too long. I like games that are more focused. Give me a nice 20-hour game max and have the gameplay be fun all the way throughout. Don't give me a 60-hour movie. That's just too long. But anyway, Obamacare unconstitutional. What are we going to do with the whole system? Just go back to the way health insurance used to be? I don't see anything wrong with that. People are saying that before Obamacare, the insurance system was broken. Well, it was imperfect, of course, and I think things can be improved upon. But what's going on right now with Obamacare is a total mess. And I mean, you got these crazy premiums people can't pay. It's just a big mess. Okay. Shout out to William Blowers who says, hey, ABL, my dad thinks that I've been tainted by watching folks like you, the Quartering, Sargon, and PewDiePie. Do you have any advice? Hey, tell your dad to call into my show and we can have a conversation. If he feels like I'm toxic or something like that, we can have a conversation. The quartering is cool. The other guys, I don't know, they're kind of iffy to me. I wouldn't say that they're poisonous. I just say that they're kind of just silly. But, tell them call me, and then we can have a conversation. And we can just, do it that way. But that's probably because you have a different point of view, and it's not the same as his. That's okay. It is what it is. I got the same thing from my parents, but now I don't really have those problems. Every now and again, they try to tell me some liberal stuff, but they know that I'm not really for it, and they respect me for that. Because one thing is that I always am able to take care of whatever I got going on, so it's never any real issues. The border situation, the little girl dying, 7 years old, she died of sepsis shock because of liver failure due to not eating, not drinking any water for days on the trip. Now, the father has come out, the quote-unquote father has come out and said that he was feeding his daughter. He was giving her water. But how did she become so sick at the actual border so quickly and pass away? They got to the border at the point of entry at 9:15 p.m., December 7th. The next morning, December the 8th, like right around noon, she passes away. How do you pass away in less than 24 hours after coming to the country? Like 12 hours later, you're gone. How does that happen? You can't blame anybody over here in the States because she went to the hospital due to being sick, due to having some kind of reaction to something, or from exhaustion. Why would you bring a little girl, 7 years old, on a 2,000-mile trip from Guatemala to New Mexico with the intention of getting into the United States? And why would you leave your wife and your other 3 kids behind? Are you fleeing persecution, huh? You're fleeing poverty, huh? Well, why is your wife still there? Why are your other 3 kids still there? What was so special about this little girl that she had to come on the trip, but the other individuals weren't allowed to come on the trip? That's what I want to know. It seems like he was trying to use her as some kind of pawn. I was reading the comments. Exactly, friends. Autopsy. Yes, that's what I want to see. I'm reading comments and they're saying that maybe she was a drug mule. They put something in her body and they told her to not eat or drink because they didn't want her to have it get pushed further into her body. That may have been why it was only one girl that went rather than the rest of his kids. That I think that's what that was. Or since they surrendered to the border agents and they didn't try to sneak around, what could have happened is they were trying to seek asylum and he was using a little girl as a sympathy card. Because how you going to turn this man away with this little girl? What's going to happen to her? That may have been his process, his thought process. So I don't know exactly what happened. Either way it goes, to try and blame Trump or to try and blame the U.S. government doesn't make any sense. If anything, they gave her better care than she would have ever gotten in Guatemala or Mexico. But I'll move on. Trump now has an urban council with the express purpose of trying to revitalize underprivileged communities. But I was always told that Trump's a racist. He hates blacks. He hates Hispanics. He hates everybody that's poor. He's only for the rich man. But yet I'm seeing him doing things for underprivileged people, for marginalized, quote unquote, marginalized citizens, people that live in low income areas. The way I see the opportunity zones or whatever is that you're going to have incentive for companies to invest in these small communities. The same thing happened, not necessarily with the opportunity zone, but with investing into a small community in Baltimore, Maryland. Not small community, but impoverished community. In this particular part of Baltimore, they didn't really have too much. But you had a couple of stores here and there that were willing to invest. After the riots happened in Baltimore, some of these places were looted. Matter of fact, I think it was a CVS. In CVS, they got ransacked, but they've been begging for years to get the CVS right there to invest into this low income area, to invest money into the tax base, to hire people that live in the area that need jobs. But you want to burn it, you want to loot it. It is what it is. So hopefully we can just get a culture of working and respecting businesses back in these low income areas, combined with these businesses being attracted to low income areas where they can, number one, be safe, and number two, save money. It's a win-win for them. They can save money while at the same time being safe, not being worried about their business burning down to the ground. I think that makes perfect sense. If you decide to vandalize a store or something like that, you should be ostracized 1,000%. Oh, yeah. Somebody talking about Vlad. Yeah. And the thing about it is I like some of Vlad's content. But the problem is that he's a stomp down liberal. So by Vlad being a liberal, he doesn't understand politics really. He understands how to make money. Like, it's weird. A lot of these guys that have money, they still want to have this liberal narrative. Now, it could be for a few reasons why Vlad does it. The first one is probably the most obvious one. Once you are in the entertainment industry and you focus on rap and black people, you can't come off as a Trump supporter because 90% to 95% of the black community voted against Trump in the 2016 election. So it's a matter of protecting your business, and I respect that. But on the other hand, the things that you say, now I have to go out here and fight people, not literally, but figuratively. I got to go out here and fight people because they're believing what you say. I got to hear all these people talk about these crazy conspiracy theories about black conservatives, how we just want the limelight. We're not really being real. We're being influenced by one person. It's like, come on. But it just sets up roadblocks for me to take over. That's the only thing. Aside from that, I don't really care too much about his personal feelings. Everybody's entitled to their own personal feelings, and I'm all cool with it. Shout out to Lukaku's first touch, who says, ABL, you've changed my life. I was always playing the victim card, and I thought I was owed everything by white folks. But thanks to you and others, I've seen the light. Hey, thank you for that, man. I really, really appreciate you. Hopefully I'm not saying the wrong gender there, but I thank you for that. That means a lot. That means I'm making a difference, and I'm really glad that I am. So we'll get to the calls in a moment. I just want to see what's going on with the chat right quick before I do. Now, these yellow vest riots or protests, whatever's going on, whatever you want to call them, they happen everywhere. I heard that it started in France, but now it's all over Paris and other parts of Europe as well. I'm here in Germany. I'm here in UK. Where else are the yellow vest protests happening? Somebody asked me about rural Kentucky. Will these grants go to people in rural Kentucky? Well, I'm not really sure about if it's all grants or what exactly is going on, because it could be grant money. There could also be tax incentives, lower tax areas. That could be what it is. And there's also other things that are included in this. It's a mechanism, which a 401k, that can save money rather than opting out. You can have it transfer automatically. It's some kind of regulation that Bob Johnson helped put in. Bob Johnson was a former owner of BET before he sold it. He also owned the Charlotte Bobcats before he sold it to Michael Jordan. But that's a different story. So some of these things aren't necessarily just money given out. Some things are just simple rule changes that are going to help people retain their money. Just like having lower taxes in certain areas and also having a roller for with your 401k. Okay, somebody says, Austin Gaming says, is the N word of the F word? I guess you're saying, is the N word and or the F word bad? I mean, bad words are all about the people that hear them. Okay. I think we all know what curse words are, but as far as the context of what words can get you in trouble when it comes to your money on platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, or whatever, there are certain things you can't say. The best way to describe it would be if you say derogatory terms towards protected communities. Once you do that, now you got a problem, because these communities have advocates that are going to fight on their behalf. And once they smell blood in the water, which is you coming out there using curse words, if you do it, that are derogatory towards them, it's an easy way for them to attack you. Is it right? No, but we know that it happens. We talk about it all the time, and we see what the results are. Yet some of us still want to just touch that hot stove and get burned. What do you think? Like, what was going to be the result of touching that hot stove? You had to have seen it coming. You touched a hot stove before, you got to burn, and you put some ice on it, some water on it, and say, okay, I'm not going to do it anymore. Then you go right back to the same stove and touch it and get burned again. I mean, I don't understand. And also about free speech, people say, well, you got to support free speech. You got to support free speech. I'm with you 100%. The problem with free speech is that it's a two-way street. It's not just one-sided. I'd right to say whatever I want. So can you. So here's an example. I have the right to say pretty much whatever word I want. But the problem is some people are not going to like what I say. They're not going to like what I say. They're going to say I'm offended. If you get enough of these people that say the same thing and they protest you, they come out and speak against you, you're going to be the odd guy out because you're going to be on an island by yourself or with a very small amount of people, and they're going to have the majority view. If you got people that are in high places of power that don't like what you say, prime example, Mark Lamont Hill with the river to the sea comments as it related to Israel and Palestine. He worked for CNN. The CEO of CNN is Jeff Zucker. He's Jewish. He's offended. And other Jews are offended. Other people that are not Jews are offended. Therefore, Mark Lamont Hill is gone. It is what it is. They had a right to do that. It's their platform. They can fire whoever they want for whatever reason. Now, once you get into this whole thing about, oh, you can't deplatform me unless it's for specific reasons, it's not even really true. Terms of service are ambiguous for a reason because lawyers can go in there and interpret it however kind of way they want to. Try to bring that case to court as it relates to Sargon of Akkad. The problem with Sargon is that he knew that what he was saying is edgy. He did an interview, he did a live stream recently or a video, whatever, on his primary or secondary channel talking about, I use naughty words to get a reaction out of people. I use bad language because it's edgy and because it's fun. So when he says, oh, we got to think about the context, what's the context here, Sargon? The context is you want to use these words to be edgy, to be cool, to get under individual skin. If you thought that words had no power, then you wouldn't be saying that. Words do have power. Unfortunately for Sargon of Akkad, the words had too much power. Now he's not on Patreon anymore. You can't be crying about how you're not on Patreon anymore after your desktop when you knew that what you were saying was edgy and people may be offended, especially after you saw what happened to Lauren Southern. Lauren Southern got kicked off the platform, not for a thing that was expressly in the TOS, but for a thing they made up. You had the guy, what's his name? Jack Conte. Made something up probably in the Uber on the way to Dave Rubin's show talking about what can I say is going to go with the word mob? What kind of acronym can I create that's going to go with this 3-letter word mob, as in mob mentality? I know manifest observable behavior. That's what I'm going to say when I get on Rubin, and everybody accepted it. Sargon accepted it. He stayed on Patreon. So did everybody else. You know, nobody's going to leave Patreon as a content creator on YouTube because they depend on that money. People are going to say, well, I don't like what Patreon did, but they're not going to leave because making too much money. Why would you leave? You know, it's like if you get fired from a job that you both work at, am I going to quit too because you got fired? I might think the reason is BS, but I'm not going to quit my job. I got bills. That's too bad for you. I may say that it's not good that whatever happened, but I'm not going to quit my job. It is what it is. But we're going to get to the cause. I just want to get it off my chest for a moment. You guys know what the drill is. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Like the video, share the video, do all the good stuff. And of course, Skype wants to install itself again. I feel like every time I start Skype, it wants to install itself. Hold on one second here. Shout out to my man Franz. He says that's not the point. The point is that he did it out of Patreon hold on. The point is, he did it out of Patreon. Patreon doesn't say they police other sites. Watch Tim Pool's video. Again, the same thing happened with Lauren Southern. Lauren Southern did a thing that was off of the platform of Patreon. Okay, she did something that was just totally on the other side of the world, but yet she still got kicked off and nobody left. Now we're seeing the same thing happen again. If you know that they operate this way, they look at you in a certain way. Like they already lump Sargon of Akkad with Lauren Southern, with Mike Cernovich, with David Duke. I'm not saying it's right, but they do. If you know all that, and you know that they kicked Lauren Southern off for a thing that was off the platform, which they considered to be racist, why would you then go on Patreon? Not on Patreon, pardon me. Why would you then go on YouTube and say all the magic words you can say that are going to be offensive and then be surprised when you kick out the platform? You could have seen that. I saw it coming. I was like, look, they're waiting on a thing to get Sargon with. They're waiting on something they can use to kick Sargon off the platform. If I know that, why didn't he know that? It's really weird. I'm just using logic. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. It's just basic sense. Basic common sense, man. It is what it is. It's just like, same thing with Gavin. Gavin knows he's on thin ice as well. So if Gavin decides to go and, throw the middle finger up at reporters talking about the Proud Boys, I mean, he did the right thing by disavowing the Proud Boys because it got out of control in many different ways, mostly from the media and their perception of it. Why would you keep going this direction if you know that it ain't really, people just got to understand how to operate. That's all. Got to understand how to operate, and it is what it is. But I want somebody to call in because people are talking about Sargon. I want somebody to call in. We can have a debate. And you guys know, one thing I like is debating. But let me answer this call. People stuff you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Joshua.
All right, Joshua, what's happening?
What's happening to Logan?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Not much as of lately. Did you hear? Actually, a couple of days ago, that my President Donald Trump destroyed the two clowns known as Skeletor Pelosi and crying baby Chucky of my state of New York.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, I like how he kind of baited them into coming. Well, he didn't bait them really. He was just like, okay, let's come have a little meeting about the wall. And they were kind of surprised when all the cameras are right there, right in front of them. I enjoyed that. And we need more of that. We need more of that transparency.
Right, because it exposed what the Democratic Party really is. Nothing more than corrupt, power-hungry sons of you know what?
There you go. Right. All right.
Some, you know what? That they only care about themselves. They never care about the black people. They never care about Hispanics. They never care about the United States citizens. They only care about themselves. That's why they want a $1.5 billion wall fixing, which is just a temporary fix of the old rusty crap that is always in the southern border.
Yeah, they don't really want a wall. All they want, because they already said that the wall is immoral. It's something we shouldn't have. All they really want is like just added security. The bare minimum down there. They don't really want a wall at all, and they're trying to stonewall the effort. That's why they were trying to say, "Oh, well, put the vote in the House right now." And it doesn't make any sense because he knows that it's going to get stonewalled once it goes to the Senate, and they're going to try to put in amendments to water it down to not actually fund the wall, which is the whole purpose of him putting the bill out there.
Right. Yeah. That's why if they bring like a $1.5 billion wall funding, just shut down the government altogether because for the United States citizens as a whole, because Trump cares more about the United States citizens them more than these so-called people-loving Democrat politicians.
That's right.
Obama. Obama. Like, speaking of Obama, Obamacare is now unconstitutional. Dun 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 dun. Sorry about that on the cloud wave, but yeah, it really is unconstitutional. It only helps the liberal people in the cities, not the majority of the United States, because it's extremely expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what the result of this is going to be. I want to see if people are going to get refunds. Are we going to be able just to get plans off of the marketplace? Are they going to dismantle the marketplace? Is it going to be in court for years and years? What's really going to happen? What could happen is this would be a way for Obamacare to get repealed through through the government, through the executive branch or whatever, because you have a court case that says that's unconstitutional. Or it could go to the Supreme Court. I don't know how they're going to actually handle this. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Like, Republicans have only had 2 years to repeal Obamacare, but the rhinos didn't really repeal it at all. They just kept it there.
That's right.
It shows how spineless some of the Republicans are. Paul Ryan, the Flakester, and so on.
No doubt.
And I want to talk about what happened to me today. Today, what happened to me was that I had a semi-political debate that my mother has voted Democrat for her entire life, and mainly is that I have four Make America Great Again hats, the camel, the Christmas red one, the original one, and which one where I wear right now, the navy mesh one. But my mother doesn't want to wear it in public anymore because she fears that I might get harassed, and even pegged on.
Well, so are you saying that the debate was over wearing the hats and your mother didn't want you to wear it?
Yeah.
I mean, that really shouldn't be a debate. It should be just more of a, I think you shouldn't wear it and have that be that. And I understand why she would say that, because you are in New York. And I think you saw my picture.
The city of New York, the city, not the upstate.
Yeah, you in New York. I understand why she would say that, but hey, man, it's you. You want to do it. I say go for it. Like I told you, you saw the picture I had when I was in New York. I was in the airport. Mm-hmm. I was getting a bunch of crazy looks, but nothing happened. It wasn't a big deal. Then again, I was in the airport, but hey, man, just out, just wear your hat, man. But be careful, because some places I know it can get really weird. I'm seeing some things about the subway at a certain time of night. People are getting attacked. Just make sure that you got your eyes and your head on the swivel. Make sure you on guard.
Yeah. And also my final point today is Trump's supporting the urban community.
That's right.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Why hasn't Obama presidency hasn't done this for the last 8 years during his presidency? Why?
That's a very good question. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, okay, you have Obama in office for 2 terms, 8 years total. He could have passed prison reform. He could have done all these things, but he didn't do it. And
he was just a puppet.
He was a puppet doing whatever he was told to do. Now you have Trump leading from the front, and people don't want to give him credit. They want to say, oh, Obama was a responsible party for all the things that are happening right now. Although Obama himself said that it'd be a miracle if you'd be able to get these jobs back. Although Obama never did any kind of prison reform like what Trump is doing. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why majority of black people love Obama for some reason. I know why, because he's black. They don't like him because he's for his policies. No, because he's black, basically. Yeah. That's why 95% of black people back in 2008 and 2012 voted for him, because he's black. That's all.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think what's going to happen in 2020 as a whole I think the black vote is going to increase to like the mid 20%, like 23 or 28% of the black vote. They're going to vote for Trump.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how things are going to shape up in 2020. It's definitely going to be more than 2016 because now it's becoming more cool. It's becoming more popular to be a Trump supporter, man. But thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you as always.
Definitely appreciate you too.
All right, now take care.
Take care. Peace.
All right, shout out to my man Joshua. Definitely appreciate him. And thank you to everybody that's in here. Shout out to the super chatters right quick before I get to my next call. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Fred Ramey, thank you for your donation. He says, I can't wait till the Rupert Report happens. Hey, that'd be fantastic if I'm able to get a Rupert Report. You know, and I should be over on the West sometime soon. I don't really know when, but I'll be on the left coast soon. And shout out to Christopher Baker, who says all should be protected or none to do anything else is immoral. I think that's, you're talking about the protected classes. Yeah. I mean, everybody should have the protection of the government equally if the government is to protect anybody. But the reality of the world is that there are some protected classes that have more, I don't want to say rights, but they have more visibility on them to be protected than other classes. It is what it is. It may not be right, but it's the reality of the world. Fred Ramey also says, don't be racist, hate all liberals equally. Shout out to Fred Ramey and shout out to Christopher Baker. If you don't donate through Super Chat, you can do that. The link for PayPal, Patreon's in the box. Super Chat is right next to your name with a $sign. Click on a $sign. Send me any dollar amount you desire. $1, $1 million. Let it in your pocket. I will take it all. But let me get to my next call, and that will be 832. You on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, man, this is Jose Aldo.
All right, Jose, what's going on?
All good, all good. How about yourself?
Everything is great. Can't complain.
Yeah, I heard about that little girl and Wild Mountain Girl. It was the dad's fault primarily.
Yeah, definitely, because she hadn't been eating or drinking regularly, and if you're coming from Guatemala all the way to New Mexico, that's a very long. We're talking about 2,000 miles, so that's a hard trip to go on for a 7-year-old girl. That's you can't. Nobody can blame the United States. Once they got to the United States, they were getting world-class treatment for no money. So how can anybody blame the United States or Donald Trump?
Yeah, because it's the dad's fault.
100%.
And also you heard about what's it called, the women's marchers. I think they're being charged for anti-Semite. I saw it on Breitbart.
They're being charged with what now?
It says women's march leaders face anti-Semitic corruption charges ahead of the second anti-Trump event.
Oh, okay. Now I didn't see that, but I'm not surprised at all because you had some people like who was that? Linda Sarsour, and there was another woman that's in part of the march. They're meeting with Farrakhan and stuff like that, so it makes sense. Huh?
Tamika Mallory.
Tamika Mallory, yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
So
and also what's it called? They knew from the beginning that they were anti-Semite.
Yeah, it's not any kind of real surprise. It's just being put out there to the public, to the media. Everybody knows what these people are, so there's no surprise here.
Yeah, because let me see what else. Oh, you know what I saw on Twitchy? You know who's Charlie Theron?
Who?
Charlie Theron?
No.
It's that I think she's an actress from South Africa. Charlie Theron?
You're talking about Charlize Theron.
Yeah. I was looking through Twitchy, Twitchy.com. I look at stuff, and I was looking to Twitchy, and back in April, she said that she was going to leave America because America is so racist. Everybody on there was saying, isn't South Africa racist also against white people?
Yeah, South Africa is much worse than the United States when it comes to racism. I mean, South Africa, good grief. They had a much deeper system that still exists to this day. So it's not the exact same as it was back before Nelson Mandela and stuff like that, but it's still much worse than it is over here in the USA. So if you want to leave the United States because it's so racist, then go back to South Africa and see how better it is for you over there.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to confiscate her farm too.
Wow.
But I'm not aware.
Yeah, not surprising at all.
But also, MSNBC leaked the video. But I looked at on Twitter. It says here it's back in 2001. So they leaked it in the Obama years. Why were they leaking now?
Very interesting.
Yeah, and also let me see. I think that's about it. ABL.
Well, I thank you for the call.
And also,
go ahead.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
All right, now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to Jose Alba for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. We got 284 live in the building. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I don't see the comments about Sargon anymore. Nobody's called me about that. I have so many negative, comments on it. I figured I'd get somebody to call me, but I think a lot of the negative comments came from non-subscribers, so I'm not even really worried about it. Yeah, Linda Sarsour is a nut. And, she's one of these weirdos, these kind of actors that exist that pretty much just, like their whole thing is activism, but it's not even really real. Okay. She comes off like she's some kind of Muslim from the Middle East, but she grew up in Brooklyn. It's like Miss Cleo. Remember her? The Call Me Now, not a Jamaican, came from Los Angeles, straight actor. That's Linda Sarsour. Linda Sarsour is a new Miss Cleo, but a dangerous version because you're acting like a terrorist, basically, and you having negative conflicts with the things that you're saying. You're spewing hate rhetoric, and it just creates issues. Chris Gunno says, curious on your thoughts about the state of Georgia in the next gubernatorial race. Well, I don't know about the next race. All I know was about Stacey Abrams and what's her man's name? What's his name? Is his name Brian Kemp? Yeah, Brian Kemp. And Stacey Abrams had this crazy campaign talking about gun confiscation and we're going to have to take weapons and, really stupid stuff. This is the South. This is Georgia. Everybody has a gun. It don't matter what color you are, black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, everybody has a gun. So how can you run your campaign on something like that? And then she was refusing to concede when the race was clearly in the bag for Brian Kemp. It was really weird. So I don't know about the next race, but whoever it is, they have to understand what Georgians want. And regardless of what it is, of who you're talking to, everybody is going to be adverse to gun control for the most part. Somebody asked me, Dragon Energy asked me, when are you going to red pill your boy Tim Black? Hey, Tim Black is an older guy than I am. So I don't know if it's going to be possible for me to red pill him. You're talking about teaching the old dog new tricks. That's not really it's not really easy thing to do. It's kind of difficult to do that. So Michael Hayward says, Sargon to me is a guy who acts smart for no reason. He is a smart guy, but public speaking is dangerous. So he's just that kind of risky individual. Yes. The thing about Sargon is that, see, look, me, I'm on TV a lot. I'm on RT a lot. I do little guest speaking here and there. So I have to be very careful with what I say and crafting it in a certain way to get the point across without, really offending anybody intentionally, without being too extra over the top. You understand? I can get my point across and have it be stern and have it be forceful, but not to the point where people are going to get turned off immediately and not listen to me anymore, or where I get kicked out the station, kicked off the show. I want to be able to keep coming back and delivering my message so people can hear me. I don't want to be somebody that is ostracized from the media. But let me get to my next call. And thank you for the donation, Chris Gunnels. Definitely appreciate you. 253 on the line I'm speaking to.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Everything's good.
Yeah, so this is Joseph out of Washington.
All right. What's going on?
Pretty good, man. I wanted to talk about, like, the border wall and different things like that.
Okay.
So I don't really know if this would be, like, immoral or anything. I just kind of wanted to ask the question. If we were to put like, in the current wall that there is, or when the wall actually gets built, would it be crazy to maybe have something like sleeping gas or something for people who approach the wall too close, so they could just be picked up by Border Patrol whenever they, try to cross, and not have to worry about stones being thrown at them and all that good stuff?
Hey, that is a very good idea, actually, because that's pretty humane. They're not going to be hurt, really. They can just, eventually just get on the ground, take a little nap, and when they wake up, they'll be in custody. Yeah, so it won't be.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it won't be all this stone throwing and hooping and hollering. It'll be easy, effective. It could be like a little trigger. It's like when you have these little air fresheners in your house. When you walk past it, it's okay. You have to. If you get a little heart attack when you hear it, like the little. They can have something like that when you get too close to the wall, like an electric fence. But rather than getting shot, you can just get some mist in your nose. That'd be good.
Right. I know, and just like put it at every certain amount of feet. I mean, we're so advanced with technology. We got to have something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So yeah, that's one thing. And I heard you say something about, like, I call them old fools being red pilled. Yeah, man. So it's hard for me, like, as a young guy, being able to like talk to people that's older than me, because they really think that because they're older, they really can't be told nothing by a young person.
Correct.
And they could be like all the way off on a whole nother level. Like, oh yeah, it's racism and Trump is racist, and nah, man, you stupid. That's what it is. You just old and stupid.
That's right. That's right. I get that a lot. I'm in these debates with people, and then people try to pull this whole age card over me, but it don't really mean anything in reality. I've been told something by people that are younger than me. I got a whole history lesson about Virginia Beach, that whole area, from a guy that was like 10 years younger than me. I don't care how old you are, but some people are not gonna let their pride get out of the way to be educated, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with them. Just let them be them and move on, I guess.
I guess they'll just destroy themselves. I don't know, man. I just bring up stuff like with the youth, maybe we should do more events. How do we reach the younger crowd when, we actually understand what's going on, and politics are becoming more, hip, and, people starting to wake up to it? How do we try to reach out to people that are just blind to the fact that they're being indoctrinated?
Well, I think the best way is to kind of approach them in a way that they can relate to. Speak to them in their own language. Don't try to talk down to them. Just speak to them in a common sense kind of way, and put stuff out there that they're going to pick up, just like what I'm doing right here with these videos. And like some of my friends are also doing. They're putting out content. They're putting out stuff, and they're just talking. They're just being themselves. Anytime you get to be in front of a camera, and anytime like entertainers, athletes, anybody that can get in front of a camera or that can have some kind of audience, just be yourself naturally as a conservative, and people will pick up on it, and then it becomes a thing, just like we got going on right now. I put out a picture of myself with like 10 people, all black, all wearing MAGA hats, and I just put it out there. I don't know who's looking at it. I don't know who's seeing it, but somebody's going to see it. People are going to see it. And at a certain point, it's going to start to catch steam like that. When it's not just me, when there's other guys out there. Somebody said in the chat, Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, who else? I don't want to say nobody's name because I don't want to forget nobody, but you understand what I mean. I have a lot of us that are out there that are just putting it out there.
Yeah, and my thing is, maybe we should come up with like a yearly thing or something where we start to catch on to, like, oh, Christmas is coming up or whatever, 4th of July. We just go pick a place and everybody just chooses to be there, and we talk to some young folks. It seems like it's a little harder to get into schools because, the government's kind of running that and they got all this stuff. But maybe we can kind of come up with some kind of sporting events where the youth will be attracted to, and everybody just show up there and we talk about issues. Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. Some people that I know, we're talking about stuff like that. I can't say too much about, but
I'm just throwing it at you because I want you to throw it at them.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do that, because we're talking about certain things, but I'll put that in the mix to see what we can actually do to help this movement go forward. It can't just be a photo op here and there. We really want to make a difference.
Oh, for real. And I feel like, man, we're speaking the truth. It's like, I tell people all the time, if I talk to 100 people and one person heard me, I did my job.
100% correct.
So, you know, it's whatever. If don't a lot of people come up to the event, then sure, maybe somebody who didn't quite hear the truth before they came to the event finally hears, and they're like, wow, okay, Democrats are evil. I didn't get that. Huh.
Right.
Why are they evil? Oh, okay, this is new. You know, maybe that'll catch on to them. And I was also thinking about like merch and like T-shirts and different things like that with different like slick slogans to help people kind of just, you know, kind of troll their brain if they'll see somebody that's nice that's out. Besides the MAGA hat, you know, everybody always has the MAGA hat and things, but I understand that, you know. But besides that, people just need to kind of like get along. And I think a T-shirt or something like, you know, car bumper stickers, because I drive all the time, you know, to work and stuff. I figure they can't really like beat their horn and get me off the road just because I'm wearing a MAGA hat or something. I got something on the back of my car says, "Wake up, everybody!" You know, this is real stuff, something like that. So I was hoping you guys could come up with something that, when you know, it'll help you guys out with the events coming up, and also we can give back to you guys, you know, by having something that supports the cause.
Makes a lot of sense. I definitely put it out there, and we're definitely going to do it, you know, for sure. Merchandise, that's been mentioned. Yeah, we're definitely going to do these things to get the message out there and keep the whole thing going.
Yeah. Make sure you do T-shirts, hoodies, because you know how the young folks is, you know. And then, like for my thing, bumper stickers was huge. I don't know why it just popped out to me, because like I know I'm in a liberal state, and like people could just be, you know, driving up behind me and finally see something that pops out to them, and they never, you know, thought to think of it that way.
That's right, 100%.
So yeah, man, I appreciate your time, man. Again, great show. Always doing a great job. I appreciate you for telling the truth.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. A lot of great ideas there, you know, because you guys know I went to YBLS. That was fantastic. You know, we need to do more stuff like that. And I put it out there to some of the guys and girls that went, you know, what are we going to do next? We talking about certain things. And I think what he said, those are going to be some good ideas. Absolutely. The merchandise is really important. Because I've seen some merchandise that a lot of guys have, like people like Mark Dice. You know, I have merchandise myself, but it ain't really, you know, I need to have more stuff that's kind of universal. So it can just be more of a crossover type of thing. That's what I really want to have. Like somebody I saw at the MAGA rally when I went to it here in Chattanooga, this guy had on the MS NPC shirt, and the feathers of the peacock had NPCs. It was like gray feathers with the NPC head at the tip rather than just the little, you know, regular peacock head. I stopped that guy and was like, yo, your shirt is fantastic, marvelous. We need more stuff like that. That is kind of cool and it's fun and people are going to be into it. It's going to be something that you'll want to do. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it. Let me get to my next call. Carl Jogger, what's happening?
Hey, doing good. Let me zap you off over here. How you been, Anthony?
Everything's been great. Can't complain.
Very good. Hey, did you cover the story about that really sad story about the 9-year-old girl in Alabama that committed suicide?
No, I didn't cover that story, but I saw that. That was really a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mainstream media stayed away from it because they didn't like the narrative. In fact, when they did kind of cover it, they were just saying she was a victim of, you know, racist taunts. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking like, God, you know, this black girl, like what, a bunch of, you know, 9-year-old white boys were like giving her racist taunts and stuff. But then when I kind of read into the story, you have to kind of read into it. They didn't say all the things they were calling her. And I can imagine, I know you guys get called the same words,
Yeah.
So I'm sure you can imagine what they were. But, you know, one thing they did report was that someone said to her, or they were saying to her, oh, you think you're white because you're hanging out with that white boy. Well, a 9-year-old white boy wouldn't say that to her. That's obviously were black boys and girls that were saying that to her. And I guess it got so bad that, you know, she actually complained to the principal and the teachers. They kind of blew her off. And then her mom actually complained, albeit she didn't fill out any forms, so there wasn't a paper trail. But my guess is that wasn't her fault. That was more the school's fault. She probably showed up there, and instead of them telling her, "Hey, fill out this form," the last thing they wanted was a paper trail on the issue.
Of course.
But yeah, I just really sad story, and I that whole racial resentment thing. And I know you guys put up with it
every day,
a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a 9-year-old girl, and who's teaching these 9-year-old kids that kind of racial resentment at that young? I mean, it's got to be coming from their parents. Or,
it's no other place. It's no other place. It doesn't come from anywhere else, because when you're that young, that's not even really a thing. Race, that's not even something that you think about, really. You're just thinking about, oh, that's my friend over there. You learn it from your parents. The whole race thing, it starts to become more into what you're thinking about as you become older. Like once you get to high school, college, and then a lot of the way you feel about race has been formed by your parents all throughout. And then it kind of hits more once you get older. Not 8, 9, 10 years old. That's way too early. So it's coming from their parents directly. And what you said earlier about you thought it was, some white guys that were taunting her. That's the way the media wants you to think, because they'll say stuff like, young black girl commits suicide because of racist taunts. So when you hear black girl and you see that she gets hurt, and then you hear the word racist, the mind automatically says, oh, it was a white on black thing, but that wasn't what it was. The media knows that, but that doesn't fit the narrative. Like you said, it don't fit the narrative, so they can't roll with that headline, and they can't talk about it too much, because if they do, then the reality is going to come out, and that's not what they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough you guys have to put up with that kind of nonsense as adults, at least as adults you have something to kind of, balance it off with, and that's why some people were saying like, oh, all of you guys getting together at the White House was kind of like identity politics. I totally disagreed. I did a lot of pushback on that in a couple of different sites, saying that, hey, look, these guys catch a lot of garbage, all day long. They at least needed to know that, hey, there's other people like me. Like there are other conservatives out there who happen to be black, and wow, we all kind of can talk to each other about stuff. So that's why I thought it was important. But I just felt bad. I feel bad for her, and I feel really bad, more importantly, for other kids that have to go through that. I mean, the message is sent. If you hang out with someone of a different race or ethnicity, you're going to get slammed. And this 9-year-old girl just couldn't take it anymore. So I feel bad for the whole situation, and I don't know how to change that, to be honest with you. Unless for what you guys are doing, you're on the front line right now doing all this stuff. You and the other black conservatives.
Yeah, the best way is just to show that we exist. It's not just something that people make a meme about or make jokes about. We're real people. We do exist. You got all these late night talk show hosts and YouTube commentators talking about, oh, there ain't no such thing as a black conservative. What are you trying to conserve? All this and that. It's like, wait a minute. We're here. We're regular people just like you are. We're just normal people. So that has to be the message that has to get sent. And people, a lot of black folks are kind of hiding in the closet with their conservatism because they feel like they're alone. So when we show our faces in mass, now they're like, okay, I can be myself now. I have people that are just like me that are out there. So I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm not worried that it's just me or something's wrong with me. So, and I'm starting to see that more and more and more. So that's what like our goal is becoming realized.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. Like we've talked about before. The modern civil rights movement of the 20th century took from like 1945, from the return of the GIs returning home from World War II, to 1964, 65, 68, respectively. So it takes a long time to change the conversation. But I applaud you guys. You're really putting it out there, and you're taking a lot of abuse, but you keep pushing forward. So congrats to you guys, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing great. We got, we're behind you on this. We really are. So just keep doing what you're doing. Okay.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you to my man Carl Jogger for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. We got 314 live in the building. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Helps out a lot. I really appreciate it. Alrighty. Let me see. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me see. Fred Ramey said blacks in MAGA hats are coming out of the woodwork. Yes, we are. all over the place. Thank you for your donation. Chris Gunno says, curious about what other black conservatives are on YouTube. Wow, I'm glad you asked. Chat, help me out with this one. I don't want to forget any of my friends and other people. First, I'll name Black Conservative Patriot. I don't know him that well, but one of the guys in the Discord told me about him yesterday. You also have Jermaine Bozzio, Kevin's Corner, Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum. I think Joe Patrick is on YouTube, maybe. Amazing Lucas, Hodge Twins, myself, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Who else? Who else is a black conservative on YouTube? Let me see. Jericho Green. Yes, Jericho Green. Jesse Lee Peterson. How can I forget about him? Uber Guy, the right conservative. Yep. Let me see. Leo Dunson, my man. Leo Dunson. Sergeant Leo Dunson. I'm going to do an interview with Leo Dunson, too. Leo, if you're watching, I ain't forget about your boss. We're going to do that interview. You know, I got to do an interview with a lot of guys. I got like 10 people I need to do an interview with. That's one thing I'm going to do here. Some black guy's not a conservative. Some black guy is more of a kind of a centrist. He's not a conservative. But that's a good guy, though. Shout out to him. O'Shea is kind of a conservative. I'll call him conservative. He might disagree, but I'll call him conservative. Diamond and Silk. Yes, absolutely. Diamond and Silk. Nick Taylor. My man, Nick Taylor. Magnificent. Yes. Brandon Tatum. Yes, Brandon Tatum. Patricia Dixon. Not Tommy. I like Tommy, but he's not really conservative. But Tommy, I like Tommy, though, but he's not conservative. Larry Elder is on YouTube, but not as a YouTuber. Like, you'll see things from Larry Elder on YouTube, but he's not a YouTuber. Mine of Jamal, yes. Shout out to Mine of Jamal. Oh, my man. What's my man's name? David Harris Jr. He's a conservative. Will Johnson, he's a conservative. Let me see. RDA Politic. I think we got everybody. So that's a pretty good list right there. If you guys want a rundown, you can look at the list right there in the chat, right over here, over my shoulder, and you'll be able to see. Somebody said Ben Shapiro. Stop playing. Alton Johnson. Shout out to Alton Johnson. I see you in here, boss. Patty Politics. I've not seen her in a while. Is she still making videos? Shout out to her. Terrence Williams. Shout out to my man, Terrence Williams. Yes, obviously. E.T. Williams is not on YouTube anymore, but he is a conservative. You'll see things from him on YouTube, you know, but they're not anything new as far as I know. If there's anything new from E.T., it's not from him, but maybe he's back. I'm not really sure. So shout out to my man, E.T. Williams. Let me see. Uncle Hotep. Yes, Uncle Hotep. Shout out to him. That's pretty much everybody. That's everybody that was at the event. That Sweet Disposition, her name is Megan. She was at YBLS as well. She's a conservative. Young girl, like 19, 20, college student, a conservative. Rhonda Mary, up-and-coming YouTuber. She's conservative. Who else? I think that's about it. You guys can name the rest in the chat. And shout out to Joyce Daniel, who says, hello, Anthony, this is Daniel. What about General Flynn? I'm not sure what you're talking about. It's like a little laughing emoji right there. I don't know what you mean. And Chris Gunno says, thanks, gonna subscribe to them. Hello from Georgia. Shout out to Georgia. I'm right here in Chattanooga, so I'm your neighbor. Thank you for your donations, and shout out to everybody for naming everybody on there. Also, Stacy on the right and Randall K. Taylor. Big up to them. But let me get to my next call. 509, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Vote Red in November. I just wanted to ask real quick if you'd seen YouTube Rewind, and if you haven't, if you're going to plan on doing a reaction video.
I saw it. I may or may not do a reaction video. If I do one, it'll be tomorrow. But I don't know what I'll say. It was just kind of weird. I think, well, you know what? I probably won't do a reaction video because I saw a video already that would kind of tank my thoughts. I saw something from MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, and he said it pretty well. I think he had probably the best take on it from what I know. He was basically saying that.
Oh, sorry.
Now he was basically saying that they were just trying to put everything they could into the piece to appeal to the advertisers, basically.
Mm-hmm. I saw a funny one. This channel I'd never seen before, but I saw his reaction video. Was the channel's It's a Gundam, I guess. It's foul mouth, but it's funny.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of these funny reaction videos, and that's pretty much what I thought of it too. Is just that it's an ad basically for advertisers to look at how PC we are and how SJW friendly we are and everything. When most of the content that I watch is politically centered and stuff like that, and I think they need to acknowledge that. I mean, I don't know. I think that's what makes YouTube interesting. But I'm going to jump off so I don't take a bunch of time, and I'm going to keep watching. Take it easy, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, bye now.
All right. Thank you to my man, Vote Red November, for the call. I think I'm going to just talk about that just for a moment before I get to my next call. And thank you to everybody that's calling and watching. We got 315 live in the building. Now, I kind of side with YouTube a little bit on this because I understand what they're trying to accomplish. We all use the platform. We all enjoy what they do. But this is very expensive to run. YouTube costs $4 billion per year to run. But it costs $6 billion. Would it be billion? B. It costs $6 billion to run, but they only generate $4 billion in revenue. So you got a $2 billion hole every year. Every year. This is why YouTube is now owned by Google, because Google has endless pockets. They can afford to pay that $2 billion loss. But they can't just say, since we're losing money, we can just not make any money. 80 to 89% of YouTube's revenue comes from ads. So they got to play this weird balancing game when it comes to the business side. Politics aside, personal feelings aside, content preference aside, that's really unimportant. The point is the balancing game they got to play to make the business side work, for the lawyers and the accountants and whatnot to be satisfied. You got to please the creators because they make YouTube what it is. You got to make sure that the site functions properly, that you're able to upload things, that you're not really getting demonetized, that you're able to make as much money as possible, which is why they created Super Chat because, pardon me, my stuff dropping. But after the whole apocalypse kerfuffle or during that whole situation, they did not want an exodus of people from the platform to go somewhere else and make that platform better or bigger. And they didn't want to lose that money from the people that were making content. So they came up with this whole thing called Super Chat. And thank you to all you guys who are donating right now through this system to shore up the loss that happened as a result of people that were leaving the platform due to not having confidence that their ad would get placed on the appropriate video. That's the one thing. You got to please the creators. The second thing is you got to please the advertisers. Okay. The advertisers are looking at the content and saying, all right, you got these people over here making a bunch of money talking about things that are very controversial. I don't know if I want my particular brand to be linked to that. So guess what? I'm going to pull my ads away, or you need to come up with a program, YouTube, that will allow me to have my ads on videos that are friendly for me and not have them on videos that are not friendly for me. So they had to come up with this whole big machine learning thing, artificial intelligence, to come up with that. Then they got to be able to please those that actually work at YouTube, the corporate culture of YouTube. They got to please all these people. So the YouTube Rewind is a tool. It's not the way it was back in the day where it was just a highlight of the best videos. It's a tool to try and get money from the advertisers. I'm not mad at it. I don't even really care to watch it. The only reason why I saw it is because it was this big uproar about it. If it wasn't for that, I have no intention to actually watch it. Why would I watch that? Most things that are very popular on YouTube, I don't like. I like video games, absolutely, but I don't like Fortnite. I hate Fortnite, actually. I'm not good at Fortnite. I have no desire to watch Fortnite. But people like Fortnite. It's just not for me. Okay, it just ain't my cup of tea. That's okay, and that's fine. Some people like milk and cookies. I can't drink milk. I don't like milk, but I'm not going to be mad because somebody else does. I don't like a lot of the big YouTubers. Not personally. I don't know these guys. I'm not saying that, but their content is not what I'm into. The content that I watch on YouTube is like podcasts, sports. You know, I watch stuff like Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. I'm not watching Jenna Marbles. I'm not watching some girl do hair. I mean, I'm just not watching that. That's not for me. So I had no interest in YouTube Rewind. Anyway, I knew what it was. It was for the money. But I'm going to go ahead and keep rocking. Let me see. Chris Gunno says, how long will you be live? I may call in. Well, I'll be on for another 2 hours. So I'll be here till 11 p.m. Eastern. Zodoci's Cane Sword says, ABL, it'd be awesome if you got Thomas Soul on. Man, if I got Thomas Soul on, that'd just be like, that's almost impossible. If I can do that, that'd just be crazy. But thank you for your donation. Six Shop says, military approach Macron, accuse him of treason. Wow, that's deep. You talking about some, some internal war. I don't know what's going on with that. That can really be interesting. I can get live real quick because now you're dealing with the European Union and some other stuff. But I digress for now. 301, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, AB? It's JB. What's up, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Yeah.
You breaking up there, man. JB, can you hear me?
ABL.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I can hear you. I had my first grandson on Monday.
Oh, congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. My son passed out. Yeah, that's best. That's best. That made my week. But I wanted to talk to you about. Did you hear about that college student that got put out of her room because her roommate didn't room us before? You heard about that?
And what happened now? The college student got what out of her room?
She got put out of her room because of they found a mega hat, and then they found out she had a gun in her room.
Oh wow! Nah, I didn't hear about that.
Her roommate snitched on her. But it's I think it was like Texas, somewhere like that, one of them southern states where it's kind of legal to have a gun, but it's not legal to have a gun. That makes sense?
Yeah. Like it's probably you can have a gun in the state, but on campus it may have different rules.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, so they put her out of her room, and the media never reported that because it was like, what's his name? But it was a white student, so you know how that goes. So they really didn't want to report that. And then back to that little 9-year-old girl. I read up on that 9-year-old. I looked up on some of that stuff, and it was really sad what happened to her. And you know what black kids tease her the most? And that's what people understand. Black people are more mean. We're more mean to each other than anybody else ever could be.
Yeah. People don't understand that. They don't really get it. They think that, and that's why I hate this whole thing about, the white man this, white man that. It's like, man, anybody is capable of being mean to somebody, being evil to somebody. It's not no color thing. So when people think that it's always the white man's fault, they ignore the crazy things that are happening in the black community. When you try to bring it up, you get accused of being an Uncle Tom Coon sellout, this, that, and the third.
Like just like on Facebook. People like when I'm writing something, I tend to misspell stuff. People just going ham on me. Somebody, you're retarded, you're stupid, you can't even spell. And then a white guy called me the N-word on there. And I'm like, everybody, and all the black people was like, yeah, he is that. And I'm like, so you gonna let a white person call me the N-word, but because he agrees with your narrative? Wow. I said, who's the biggest sellout, me or you? And then everybody got offended in the room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's the thing I be trying to tell people all the time. Like, you can't get people past this and stuff like that. You just can't, because what happens is you set the wrong narrative for everything.
That's right.
Do you not agree?
Absolutely.
And what people understand is narratives is what was a form of control. Because think about it, we make it okay for one person to say that to us, but let somebody like Trump use it. It's the worst thing in the world. You see what I'm saying? It's a double standard.
Yes.
And when double standards get involved, what happens to this narrative? It gets it gets twisted and converted.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I'm noticing more and more that your biggest negative people that don't like you is black people. Would you not agree, ABL?
I mean, that's always been like that. That ain't nothing, that ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing new. But then, they'll tell me that it's the white man that I got to worry about.
Nah, I say more black people. Tell you the truth. Would you not agree, ABL?
I mean, it's unfortunate. We trying to change that for real, because what all that is people that just don't understand what they're saying. They've been raised a certain way, they believe a certain way, and they just blind. People are just sleeping. But once they wake up, hopefully it'll change. But right now, you got too many people that are asleep and don't understand what's going on.
And they don't saying they're asleep. They're asleep, but they don't get it though. That your life would be so much easier if you stop pushing the narrative. You gotta blame somebody.
Yeah.
I never understood that though. I don't get how they always blaming people for everything. And it's always us that does it. I said the victimhood is how they control us. Literally. Would you not agree?
I see it all the time. Absolutely.
And I'll be always sitting around looking at myself like, wow, this is what we've come to in America amongst the black community. And we got all these fake leaders like Lamont Hill and Al Sharpton and yeah. And they even trying to defend Bill Cosby now.
It's like, it's a whole backwards thing. You want to sit here and defend Bill Cosby, but people that are actually trying to make a difference in the community, it's like they're the bad guys. So when you're doing stuff like that, you can never succeed. You're putting up the people that you should be putting down, and you putting down those you should be putting up. It's a backwards kind of thinking.
Exactly, but that's the black narrative. We do things counterproductive, and they wonder why we get the same results.
That's right.
And it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, case in point, I was trying to explain to people like I told you a couple months ago, like I started trucking for someone. I was like, yeah, it's doing pretty good. But everybody's like, why would you go back to work? That doesn't make sense. I said, because if it's not consistently what I want it to be, I gotta compensate what's missing until it gets to where I need it to be.
Right.
So I was trying to explain to people that the way the economy is doing good for me is now that the fuel price is going down. So, and fuel is my biggest cost. Because I'm about to buy my first semi. Probably, hopefully next month. So yeah, so wish me luck if I find one at a good price. But yeah, so that's the move right there. And I said, fuel's your biggest concern. I said, but what Donald Trump's doing is he's creating more work for me by bringing Amazon here, Amazon ports.
You're talking about the headquarters, yeah.
It's opened up more jobs for me, and people don't understand. I'm like, look, y'all got to realize, get on the train. You know what I'm saying, though? And then I had to argue with somebody, this black guy talking about Trump so full. He just over there said he's actually doing something good for Baltimore.
Exactly.
He's doing something good with that. And the thing with Bob Johnson, the 401k is, my wife did the same thing about maybe 7-8 years ago. She cast out her 401k because they basically didn't explain to it. You see what I'm saying? And now I'm glad Bob Johnson and Donald Trump put that thing in implement. And you did a video about that a couple of months ago. I remember that. Remember that video you did about
indeed.
this?
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah. And I knew Bob Johnson was working on something, and I tell people all the time, Bob Johnson is a real pro-black. He is really for the people, and people knock him down. They say, oh, he's now this. I say, you got to work with people you don't like in life. And Bob Johnson realized that. That's how you get successful in life.
That's how you do it. You put things out there and you get it done. It don't really matter about, your personal feelings. That's really unimportant. It's about just trying to get something done for the greater good, man. But I'm going to get to a few more calls. Thank you for the calls always, man.
Okay.
Definitely appreciate it.
All right, okay. Yeah. Have a nice one. Sorry, but I was kind of hemming hard. I'm driving, too.
That's all good, man.
All right, brother. Have a nice one, brother.
All right, now.
All right, peace.
All right. Shout out to my man JB for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, see, Bob Johnson really went to the White House and had a true conversation. People are saying, oh, Bob Johnson just went to the White House for a photo op. He wasn't really trying to do anything, but here we are. We getting actual legislation put on the books as a result of these meetings. See, that's one thing that people don't understand. I talk about with the black community, quote unquote. They say, okay, we want to have things done. All right, but what do you actually want done? What's your actual goal? And then people get to, hemming and hawing and don't know what's going on. It's like, wait a minute, you need to have a goal. Your goal should be to get a specific thing done. You should be able to go to the president and articulate it very well. And if you can't do that, then what are you talking about? If you have no real plan, just, wait until you have a plan, then go to the White House, say what you got to say, and have that be that. So it is what it is. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I most certainly appreciate you. Chris Gunno says, curious on your thoughts on constitutional carry and campus carry and property tax. Use this to buy Chick-fil-A or a Hillary 2020 shirt. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A. So shout out to you. Thank you for your donation. Constitutional carry, I'm with that. That's the way it should be. 100%, especially open carry. That should be, in Virginia, that's pretty much legal everywhere. Open carry, you can just, it's not a big deal. Campus carry, you should be able to actually carry your gun on campus, regardless of what. You've had many shootings that have happened on a college campus. And the big reason why they happen on college campuses is because people see it as a wide open, easy target where nobody will have a gun, where they can just do whatever they want. It's really and truly, college campuses are very insecure. They're not secure at all. Go to Norfolk. I went to ODU for a little while back in 2006 to 2007 for 1 year. After that, I was like, okay, I'm finished. I'm done. No more college. I'll just start making money right now. But it was always just wide open, and it's in a bad neighborhood. Most colleges, well, not most colleges, many colleges are in bad neighborhoods because the property value is very inexpensive. So you got this college that's right in the middle of the ghetto, and you walking away from your class at night by yourself. I've seen people get robbed. Well, I didn't see it myself, but I heard about it in the news. People getting robbed in ODU's campus while they're in a group. So this whole thing about, oh, well, what would a group? Well, okay, you may have a group of 5 people walking with you, but then what happens when you have 10 guys come up to cut and they all got hammers on them saying, give it up? It's not safe. But if everybody was able to have their guns on them, who wants to get into a shootout? These guys that rob people on the street, they want it to be an easy target, easy lick. They don't really want a gunfight, because they understand certain guys, and they're not going to be the run up on like that because it's going to be a gunfight. But if everybody has a gun, they don't know who is who. You may be a soccer mom with a pistol right on your hip, concealed carry, whatever. So, yeah. And matter of fact, on ODU's campus, it was this girl that got raped by a security guard. A security guard raped this girl in her dorm room. So this guy apparently had access to the building. This is what I'm talking about. These college campuses are not safe. So definitely have that gun, especially if you're a woman, for sure. Pepper spray and all that, that's fine. But get that ratchet. Be proficient with it and be able to use it whenever you need it. That's just how that rocks. But let me get to my next call. 602, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, my name is Fred. How's it going tonight?
Everything is great. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. A couple of things. First of all, I want to say it was the older gentleman, the last caller of the day on Wednesday. Man, he was like fire. That guy was awesome.
Oh yeah.
As far as breaking down, different types of history. A lot of people, a lot of liberals use Malcolm X as a guy that they go to, but he's completely against, the Democrats. But, a couple things that I wanted to talk about. I read a report, the Homeland Security is telling all Americans to be prepared for 6 months, as far as like, food and water. I have some high-ranking military people in my family. There's some things that they can't tell me everything's going on, but they say there's some things moving around. I was a mortgage guy for years. Do you know anything about the 2-year yield or the 10-year bond?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the 10-year bond is an indicator of, it's something that people like Jan Yellen, Greenspan, people like that that work at the Fed. And by the way, the Fed is no more federal than Federal Express.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah, private company.
Correct. So they use it to determine how if we're going to raise rates or we're going to keep them the same, or if, they're going to dip, right? Well, anytime you have the 2-year yield and the 10-year bond within a point of each other, that's bad news, right? And so it had. And by the way, for somebody who might say, "Oh, well, you're not a Trump supporter because you're saying the economy's going to fall," right? Has nothing to do with Donald Trump, right? It has nothing to do with Obama, Bush, or Bush before him. It has to do with us borrowing money we don't have, printing money out of thin air, as Ron Paul likes to say, and then now we got to pay it back. The federal income tax does. I don't know. A lot of people think it pays for roads. Doesn't. The gasoline tax pays for roads. A lot of people say it pays for schools. It doesn't. When you pay tax on your real estate, that's what pays for schools. That's why good schools are in good areas and crap schools are in crap areas, right? So all it does is pay the interest on the national debt. And the bottom line is we can't afford it anymore. And, I've been doing a lot of research. Other countries, when they want to purchase commodities like oil, first they have to actually purchase dollars, and then they can purchase their commodities, because we have what's called the world's reserve currency. So the thing is these other countries, they're starting to see the way the dollar is performing, and they're trying to come up with ways that they don't have to purchase dollars, which would put us in, if that was to happen, that would put us into hyperinflation overnight. And so debt, to all your subscribers out there, debt would be the enemy of you, because if bread goes from $3 a loaf to $30 a loaf, you're in trouble. So I think Donald Trump's doing some really good things to actually try to prolong this. The prison bill is one way, right? The farm bill is another way, because basically it's like we're gonna have to need access to good, clean food. And then the priority zones bill is phenomenal, because basically, he wants to give the dream to people in rural crap. I hate to say poor white trash areas, but it is what it is. And then ghetto areas, right? Like Chicago, Detroit, things like that, right?
Absolutely.
So that it has nothing to do with Donald Trump, right? And Donald Trump actually is the perfect president to have in this kind of scenario, because he's an authoritative figure. He's an alpha male, and if you can clown in the streets for a little bit, a day or two, but he will call the military on your butt. So
no doubt.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, or if you have any thoughts on that, if you heard anything about that. For all your subscribers, though, I just want to tell you, you need to arm your family. You need to have food and water for 6 months. And this is not me speaking. I wish it was me, right? This is Department of Homeland Security put out a report about this, right? And then you need a way to defend that, because having food and water for 6 months, it is of no bearing if you can't defend it. And the problem with conservatives nowadays, well, typical Americans, is they can't fight their way out of a paper sack. Most, Fight Club, it said, how much could you ever possibly know about yourself if you've never been in a fight?
I mean,
right?
I understand what you mean 100% because, like you said, you got to be able to defend this stuff. If, things fall apart and you're going to need food and water in a reserve, you got to be able to defend that. You can't just, be a sitting duck like that when things are really going to get hectic. But I'm going to get to a few more calls. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No, not a problem, man. Not a problem. Take care.
All right, no problem. All right, shout out to the caller. Hopefully things don't go that way. And everything is going to be kind of peachy keen, but it's hard to tell. Thank you all for watching. We got about 268 live in the building. Like the video, share the video, do all that for me. I really appreciate it. Let me get to my next call. 214, in the line, am I speaking to?
Hey, man, what's up, Anthony? This is Tariq.
All right, Tariq, what's happening?
Chilling, man. Yeah, man, I just have to agree with you on Sargon, man. And I like Sargon. I listen to him. He's very good handling the liberals. But, I don't understand why. I wouldn't call him a conservative, but let's just say white conservatives. You're right. Like, that there's certain words and phrases you can't use, but you still test it. You know what I'm saying? And white conservatives is always playing this game with race, slightly saying the N-word, using the word monkey. Now, of course, I'm a believer in free speech. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not that sensitive, but you gotta understand, these white liberals running these platforms, they don't play those games. But they keep being edgy with it. And then they get booted off the platform. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you're a white conservative, just stop saying the N-word. You know what I'm saying? Just stop saying it. We don't live in a free country where you can, you know what I'm saying? It's like this. I can say the N-word, you know what I'm saying? Nothing will happen. I know there's a double standard, but that's just how it is. It's the same thing with Jewish people. If I were to say, Jews are disproportionately overrepresented as CEOs of the media or Hollywood, I would be called an anti-Semite. But if a Jew says that, it's going to be totally fine. That's just how it is, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that, but that's just how it is. And I just feel like just these conservatives, man, they keep playing and they get shot in the foot. So, yeah, Sargon should have known better. I do hope he bounces back, but this is just the times that we live in, man. And the other thing I would ask you, do you know who Sonic Fox is?
Nah, I've heard the name before, but I don't know who that is.
Well, he's this black gamer. He's very good at video games.
Oh, yeah. I saw him, the furry dude.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, I didn't even know he was gay, man. I didn't care. But it just felt like black people have been so indoctrinated with victimhood and just labels, man. It's like they define themselves by labels, and if they do something like the first black person to be the best at Street Fighter, you know what I'm saying? It just means the world to them. So when he won that esports award of being, I think, the top player, he says, I just want to end this. I'm black, I'm really gay, and I'm really into furries, everything that Republicans hate. I'm just like, why did you have to tell us that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we got to know that you are gay? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like, that's all we focus on is these labels. Like, we don't focus on economics. We don't focus on building a media platform. We don't focus on cleaning up the culture. It's just this victimhood mentality. Look at me. I'm black. Praise me every time I do good because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So you haven't watched the video? I think it was like the 2018 Video Game Awards.
Yeah, I saw that, and you're right about this whole thing. People just wanting attention for all these different groups they belong to. And it's like, all right, Sonic Fox, you on there getting a gamer award. Why do I care about your personal life? That's not even really important. I want to know about this gaming stuff and who you thank for the gaming. I'm not really trying to hear what you do in your personal space, But again, it's just it's about trying to get attention and trying to get noticed for being part of these little groups.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest. I feel like there's an obsession with wanting to be patted on the back by white people. Like, I really do feel like a lot of black liberals love being purse puppies to white people, and white people can tout them around, saying, "Look at this black person we have in our company who's, he knows how to jump real high and everything, and he's just happy about it." That's why he keeps saying, I'm all black and I'm doing this, and I'm black and I'm doing that. I just feel like it's this. They like being awarded by white people and being praised. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a little bit childish, and it's funny because they're always constantly talking down on white people, but at the same time, I don't think a lot of them can live without white people. Like, if white people aren't praising them, I feel like they're not doing anything necessary. You know what I'm saying? And this is the last thing I want to end with. You can tell, because when you look at these award shows, rather it be the Oscars or anything, if you notice, a lot of the high-profile blacks, such as Beyonce and Jay-Z, they don't really go to the BET Awards. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to none of those awards, but when the Oscars and the Grammys on, they make sure they show up for those awards. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
Like,
that's right.
Yeah, because you want to be praised by white people. And it's just like, it's nothing wrong with that, but just admit that and stop acting like you are fighting against white supremacy when you're not.
That's a really good point. It's like, okay, you want to talk about white folks this, white folks that, they're the scum of the earth, yet when the BET Awards calls, oh, you're the one to go do that. That's below your pay grade. But then when the Oscars calls, you want to jump through hoops, apologize, get on your one knee, kiss the ring, do all that. It's like, well, wait a minute. What happened to this whole thing about white people are the devil? Where did that go?
Exactly, man. They always talk about how bad it is being black in America and everything, but then don't even want to support their own award shows. And then get mad at white people. And this is why the Oscars is so lame now, because the Oscars is just rewarding people on skin color. Black Panther was a good movie, but I honestly think it's getting awards simply because it's black people, and they don't want that whole Oscars so white hashtag going around. But it just feels like now, before when a black person won an award, I felt like, well, wow, he must have pushed through. Now, because of all the social justice and the pressure put on the Oscar, now I just feel like he's getting an award because he's black. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like they gotta do a checklist, like that stupid Moonlight movie with that gay black dude. Nobody watched that movie, but it got an award, and I feel like I know why it got an award, because it's a black guy who's gay. I think that's the whole thing about that movie. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to discuss. I know you got some calls coming up, man.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right. Thank you to my man Tariq for the call. Very good call, especially about BET. You got all these people, all these, and then also people like Beyonce and Jay-Z. You want to talk about all this. You got this video where you're talking about stepping in, fetching in, cooning, all kind of stuff. Meanwhile, you out there literally dancing with Hillary Clinton on stage for the campaign. You brought her on stage at the concert. Okay. Then you go to Europe and dance in front of these, statues of a bunch of people that existed in Europe that are all white. I'm like, what are we doing? Are we trying to fight the white man, or are we trying to celebrate him? I don't understand. I'm really confused. Stop all this race talk. Just, if you appreciate European art, if you appreciate African art, whatever it is, just appreciate it, and stop trying to ride the fence of, I hate this group, I hate that group, but at the same time, I love what they do. It's like, just stop all that hate. And I think everybody would be just fine, rather than being so confused about what they like and what they don't like at the end of the day. All right. Shout out to everybody that's calling. You guys have been great. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. I really appreciate it if you did. We got some super chats. Thank you to Fred Raymond, who says, I pray that I'm wrong. I guess that was in response to something else. I'm not quite sure. Great Barrier Queefs says, I feel like the Meek Mill is just yelling at the mic the whole time. I can only listen to one verse. He does that. And There's a hashtag here that says white people caused climate change. Okay, interesting. Thank you for that. Philip Koch Jr. says, unfortunately, here are the facts about our situation. We are still in the France deal. The USMCA deal as NAFTA and the TPP rolled into one and perhaps one world currency. Well, I don't really know about that to be true, so I have to read it and see what's really inside and take a deep dive. But thank you for your call. Most certainly appreciate you. Sometimes you on the line we'll speak to. 757.
Hello. Yes. Hello, Anthony.
Yes.
This is Daniel. Hey, that $20 was sent to you. You said Joyce Daniel, right? But I'm her husband. My name is Daniel.
Okay. Oh, I got you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
And and I was messing with. I told you I'm not familiar with this super chat thing, and so I can donate on. But I just like to listen to your show, right?
Absolutely.
And listen at you guys talk. And I was just listening to. Well, I guess that was the white guy was telling me about the banking and all that stuff, and about the 6 months we need to save up for.
Yeah.
But about your the thing I put on there about General Flynn. I was asking you, what do you think about? He's going to see before Judge Sullivan on Tuesday.
Now,
you think he's going to walk?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's
well. I think he should walk. He should go free.
I mean, he should go free. Yes, absolutely.
Because the FBI do this to all the time. You know what? When a FBI agent interviews you, right?
Yeah.
They make out that form of 302. He's supposed to make it out within 5 days. They didn't make out one for him for 7 months later. But see, that's a practice amongst the FBI and the DOJ. Nothing has changed with FBI from J. Edgar Hoover days. You know that? So they're trying to overthrow Trump. But my idea is, so you don't follow that too much of it. Like this week, that was the big news of with General Flynn.
Yeah,
and
I feel like
it's
been going on for so long. This whole trial with Russia and Flynn and Cohen, I kind of tuned out. I just wanted to see the actual.
Well, then see what?
Yeah.
This is a big fight going on. So this week coming up on Monday, Coleman's going back before the committee for the hearings, right? But we're expecting people to be arrested. There are some people. I told you last week when I was talking to you, I want to tell you about the KKK and this the Democrats.
Yeah.
And who created the KKK and all of that stuff. So I'm that same person, Daniel, right?
Yes.
And so, but I follow you. You have to keep it all in context because it's all together. It's really two factions in this country that are fighting. They are warring, and it is to death. You know that.
Well,
these people done tried to kill Trump about 12 times, tried to assassinate him. Did you know that?
I had no clue.
Huh?
I had no clue that there was that many attempts on his life.
Yeah, well, and the one clue is when the guy went with the news reporters. They vaguely reported he had a gun when Trump was at the White House.
Oh, really?
He ran the dry run about back in the summer. He pretended like he forgot and brought in his lunch bucket. The news reporters on Capitol Hill?
Yeah.
So General Flynn was framed, but like you take Sessions, right? Sessions? You ever heard of Huber? He's a U.S. attorney. He's been working with 470 lawyers, agents, and everything. Sessions appointed him in 2017 in October.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically, from my thinking, Sessions he did his job, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really the fooling the Democrats to make them love Sessions and like hate. Trump didn't hate Sessions. Did you ever seen Sessions say anything or mad with Trump?
I've never, because I was always confused about their relationship because it seemed like they had problems, but at the same time, I never saw Sessions say anything negative about Trump.
Well, if you want to deceive your enemy, because the Democrats are very devious. These people are devious. See how they tricked us? And I told you they got us, everything is back because the Republicans put us in power, everything. And I told you this was a similitude of 1898 when blacks, we were in power running the Southeast. And you go back and you study the history. And the Democrats, they are really the party of white supremacy. I got all my paperwork here, books on that. You know, because I was born there and I grew up knowing this, right? But Flynn, they do this to us all the time. That's how, if you ask one question, when the last time have you known a black person to win a federal case in court, to go to trial and win one? You ever think about that?
Yeah, that's rare. Man, that's rare for anybody. That's rare for anybody because they got a really high clearance rate.
No, they got a high rate, just like you looking at what they're doing to Trump and them.
Yeah.
They give everybody a charge around. They call process crimes. Flynn didn't commit a crime, but see what the Judge Sullivan, I don't know if you heard of Judge Sullivan, he's a black judge. You watch him. And I said he was appointed on Flynn's case last December. Mm-hmm. Because the guy that was on there before Contreras, he was a part of the deep state with on the FISA court. And so he had a conflict with Flynn because Flynn put together. But Judge Sullivan, he's a judge in D.C., right? When he took over Flynn's case, the first thing he did, because he knew they do it to us all the time, blacks, right, is even though we plead guilty, you know, a lot of blacks will plead guilty.
Yeah.
See, they force you, intimidate you to plead guilty. You know, they tell you, say, well, if you plead guilty to this, we're not going to put you in jail for life, right?
Yeah.
And that's how lots of our people, blacks are so many in jail. You know, and this is that's their technique. And so when Judge Sullivan came in last December, when he looked at the paper, even though Flynn has started, you know, Flynn hasn't been sentenced for a year now, right? But Judge Sullivan looked at it. When he looked at it, he noticed one thing that wasn't in his papers in pleading guilty. And you know what that was?
What was that?
The FBI 302. That's the form they fill out if they come and question you, right? They're supposed to fill it out, what happened, you know. It's a little history. Well, it's the testimony of that. They didn't do that for him. That's why he has not been sentenced. So yesterday, I think they came back on Wednesday or Thursday. Judge Sullivan had given them, when they had a whole year. He told them, he said, I want that 302, right? Because he knew they were lying. Because McCabe and them, it's already been shown that he falsified a 302 7 months later, from January in July, with that agent Strzok. So he told him to give him this paper. You know, from all that time, from last December, I don't think it was in December, it might have been in March, to now, Mueller did not get the papers there, and when they came back to court, see, he's going in for sentencing tomorrow, and it's supposed to be investigative memorandum. They were supposed to give it on Friday. Oh, the other day, was it Thursday? Then he gave them another 12 hours or something. They have it to him was 3 o'clock yesterday. I don't think they gave the paper yet, or they wouldn't let us know what it was.
Well, wow. But I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you right here, but I got just limited time, so.
Yeah. But anyway, well, on Tuesday he's going before, and here was the thing I was going to say. Like this year, I expect him to walk, and you know what the best part of it I think he can be? If he goes free, then he can be Trump's chief of staff again.
That'd be something right there. That I would love to see that for sure.
Well, and see, because I've seen many cases like this. Many. These demon Democrats, they got you really hoodwinked. And so, but anyway, I know you got a lot of people, but it's a story. Just watch out for Tuesday when it comes. There's a lot of things going on next week. You know, with election fraud and all that stuff. You see that stuff going on in North Carolina?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my hometown. In fact, we were talking about my cousin. He's dead now. Been a long time in the politics. that got flipped around too down there. But the guy that was taken to the people getting those absentee ballots, Dallas, he worked for the Democrats for many years with my cousin and all that. I know they steal votes. And somehow this Republican Harris, he paid Dallas money, and this guy would only take cash money. His office is in Dublin, North Carolina. I can go by there and buy peanuts, from it's a little town, right?
Right. Well, how about this? Because I do have just limited time. If you could email me or something, we can do like a longer show because people are saying they want to hear some more from you, but I just don't have the time right here on this show.
Okay. You called me. I talked to you on the phone. I don't do no email. I'm old school.
I got you.
You young guys, I'm trying to get you guys to wake up.
So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call you from my personal phone number when I do call. So it won't be the same phone number. It'll be my Virginia phone number. So you recognize the area code. It'll be.
Well, you can call this.
Yeah. I'll call you from that number. So when you see it,
you can call me anytime, and I talk to you about this stuff here, and we can work out something. But it's a lot of stuff because I'm really excited about you guys. I've watched you all from going to D.C. and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I say, it's finally some young black males are waking up and being in people. You know what in people are?
What is that?
Huh? You know what you can't say it. In person to us, I grew up, say sticks and stones, they break my bones, but talk don't bother me, right?
Yeah.
When we had the mantra growing up, our children are not taught that anymore. The 3 R's, you know what the 3 R's are?
No.
You never heard of that?
Never.
Read, write, and arithmetic.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah.
Hey, the last one hide and the first one fight. We were always conservative.
Yeah.
We blacks are the only capitalists in the country. Blacks have a lot of money in the South. And they are all in people mostly. We're very independent, and I like what you guys are doing. But you go ahead and talk. I listen.
All right. Well, thank you for the call.
All right.
I'm going to call you, so be on the lookout for that soon.
Okay, Anthony.
All right, now. Take
Good.
care.
Nice talking to you. Okay. Bye. Continue listening.
All right, now. All right. So shout out to Daniel. Yeah, we're going to get because you guys are asking for like a show. Like I'm going to do more of that because people are asking me. It's like, do some more interviews. I'm going to do it. I know I've been saying it for a long time, but I am. I got a lot of you guys that are already on my radar for a 101. And I may do a panel here and there. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm following your lead, boss. But yeah, I'm gonna do more of that. So look out for more. And I'm gonna do it. And you guys, if you don't see it, like in the next few days or something, be like, ABL, call Daniel. I have his number. I have all you guys' number over here on my Skype. So, I got the number. It's all good. But thank you all for being here. We got some more super chat. Shout out to Fred Ramey. I guess you were liking my man Daniel. You say if Daniel's so informed, and then he gives his phone number and tell him to call him. So Daniel, if you're reading, I think Fred Ramey wants you to call him. I don't really want to repeat his number, but if Fred is in the chat, I guess he'd be able to give it to you. Or he can send me the number, and then I'll give it to you when I call. So we can work it out. But let me get to my next call here. 202, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Send me the number, and then I just... yeah. Hey, how you doing, man? This is Rico from Maryland.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing, ABL? Just calling to cover a couple of points with you. Ask you a question, really, man. I'm a fan of your show. I recently, probably about a week ago, saw one of your shows that you did with, I don't know if you bring up other YouTubers, but you named them a good name, which was Misinformation. Okay. And what I want to ask you, man, is how in the world do you have the patience dealing with some of these cats? I mean, I watch them. First of all, a lot of times it's like you're like in an unfair fight or unfair debate, I should say, because O'Shea will do something funny, which is like he will ask you to calm down and wait and be courteous, and you're being courteous all the time. which is so crazy. It's crazy to the point where it seems like, okay, this is just something him and O'Shea is just doing to be funny. But you're being, very patient and everything and trying to just put your point forward, what you're saying. You have facts, you're telling the truth. And this guy, he have other pro-black listening to him, and this stuff is damaging what this guy is saying. And it's not only him; it's other black. I watched you on a panel with I think like 3 other dudes. That he was. One guy was like from the islands or something. This might have been the beginning stages when you guys started your interviews like that. But anyway, I mean, you were hitting all the points and telling the truth that's right there in front of our face every day. White people not trying to bother you. You go to work to do the best that you can. The best thing you can tell other cats is listen, take care of your children, take care of yourself, be strong, stand up like the men you're supposed to be, take care of your family and your children, and don't run around here like you're a victim. A lot of our problems are fixed with just that alone. I'm a big Trump supporter, man, 100% behind you, wear my MAGA hat too. I don't understand why a lot of guys just aren't. Well, some are, but I think women too, and the churches, they play a part as well.
Yes.
Preaching that nonsense. Seriously, that stuff does a lot of damage. I don't even know if people either not telling the truth about it or understand just how much damage it does when people just preach that victimhood mentality stuff. Man, that stuff stretches long. Really, people believe it with their whole heart, and if they don't have any proof, they can't substantiate anything they're saying.
Yeah.
They living in life acting as if white people are hiding behind bushes and trying to kill you. They ignore history, ignore everything that you hear and see about the Democratic Party as a whole. I mean, it's all out there for anyone to see. And I'm just wondering, how in the world do you gather patience to just, I know what you probably, I can answer the question. You probably hoping, look, there's some guys out there, some people out there that's actually going to get the message that's going on here.
You got it.
All the fools, there's nothing I can do.
You got it 100%. Because I know that when I'm on these panels, I know it's going to be unfair. It's an unfair fight. I'm at a disadvantage, but it's not even about that because I know people are listening that have a mindset like yours. They, and they're looking for people like me that they can relate to, that they, that they can identify with, that they agree with. So that's why I'm there. And I'm also there to kill a lot of the stuff they talk about because, like you said, a lot of what they say is very damaging. I'm on there to counteract it because if it was not for a guy like myself and others that think similar to myself, and then these ideas would just go unchecked on some of these platforms. So I'm there just to bring things back home. Like when I'm watching the chat, when I'm on these panels, I'm seeing people saying ABL is right. You may have a few people talking about, ABL's a coon, Uncle Tom, whatever. But I also see guys in there that are saying ABL is right. And I'm doing it for them and also for those who aren't really vocal that you don't see that are still internalizing what I'm saying and taking it home with them.
Right, I see. I mean, it's just like the, people who you have, the naysayers saying, oh, Trump's a racist. How stupid can you be to say that? Call him a anti-Semite and all this kind of just foolishness. CNN should have no way that anyone should listen to what they're saying. You can look, the man's daughter is Jewish. She's Jewish, his grandkids. But all that's out there for everyone to know. We all know that a year ago, unless you've been sitting right there in front of CNN watching them 100% of the time, which would be really stupid, and you're not watching other platforms, you're not listening to other people. I really feel like also that you guys are really making a lot of stride. You guys meaning people who have their own shows such as yourself that we really enjoy, found ourselves watching you guys a whole lot more and spending a lot more time grasping information from guys like yourself, YouTube stars like yourself, than going to these major platforms where they just don't, even, Fox News, call them out, they just don't get to the crux of the story. They either leave it out, don't have time, or something. But it's killing them because we sit here and hear you guys get to the point, give you the news, and give you the good stuff, or give you the gist of the story and the true story. And we do not get that from a lot of the major platforms. If you watch local news, it is absolutely horrible. Just like you have up for your discussion today, let me get it right, it is the bill that was passed for community, distressed community.
Yes.
Investment.
For disadvantaged communities, low income areas. You're talking about the council that came out and they have a bill that's going to create opportunity zones and stuff like that. The one that I did a video on, well, I didn't even do a video. I put out a video of the actual signing. You had Ben Carson speak. You had Bob Johnson speak. You had Tim Scott. People that are actually out there making moves to help the country and the black community specifically. These people somehow don't exist. They're coons, Uncle Toms, etc. But they're actually getting things done. Meanwhile, a guy like Barack Obama, what did he actually do? He had a few parties at the White House with some rappers, but that's it. What did he actually do that was substantive? I can't really think of too much.
Correct. And anyone should be able to ask themselves, if they're going to be fair, that question. Any man should be able to ask himself that question. To look at the fact that from when you guys went for the young black conservative meeting that was held this year, and they did not hardly cover it. I was watching every second of it. They didn't hardly cover it on the mainstream media. Everyone should see that. Also, just like this bill was just passed, nothing. You got to dig for it. Couldn't hardly find pictures of everybody standing there. Look, bill passed. This is what we're getting done. I don't care what color you are, because you have distressed communities in West Virginia. You have distressed communities in many places that are not predominantly just black. So it's not just a black issue. It's an American issue. And that's the way people have to see it, just as you say. You got to see yourself as an American, and you want this country to win. And if this guy is getting it done, no matter what color he is, you don't vote on color anyway. You're stupid if you do that.
That's right, 100%.
So, 100%. So if you see that this is happening, you should see MAGA hats all over bad areas. You should be MAGA, everybody wearing a MAGA hat. Just all over. If you're a independent thinker, which a lot of people are not, an independent thinker can think for yourself, not afraid, stand up like a man and can think, hey, you know what? This is good. This is good for me. This is good for my family. Hey, this is great. Oh, I like that. Yeah, lower taxes. Hey, I'm working, so I need that. I mean, come on. And you hear someone like, let's say, of Obama. I get sick of hearing this guy's name. He's not the only one. It could be Elizabeth Warren. It could be any of them. It could be any of those flock of fools that just were elected for whatever reason to the House. Cortez, the rest of these fools. You hear what they say. It shouldn't ring. It should be terrible. I don't know who would vote for that. If some of the candidates, just like the Gilden guy in Florida, I do not know how these people manage to make it in office. I'm saying to myself, there cannot be those many stupid people.
Well, yeah, unfortunately it is, because these people don't vote for them because of their politics. Well, they do, but they don't. And what I mean by that is this. They vote for them only on the base level of politics. All they know is that they're a Democrat. That's all they got to know. They don't know about what they're actually going to do once they get in office. So they're a Democrat, they're black, you vote for them. But if they are a Republican and they're black, not so much, as was the case with John James up there in Michigan. He lost the areas that were mostly black. So now you got this white Democrat lady in there, and then the Democrat policies are going to continue to affect these particular areas that voted for her in a negative way, and they're not going to get it. But I'm going to get to a few more calls, man. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay, man. Hey, that's great, man. Keep up the good work. Okay.
All right, now. Yeah, shout out to the caller. Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I will say is that you have people that vote on race, but it's not just race. It's a little bit of politics, just a touch. All they care about is Democrat, Republican. You got some people, a lot of black folks that vote for David Clark because he's a Democrat and won't even know that he's the same thing as a conservative, if not even more to the right than the average conservative. It's crazy, but that's how uninformed a lot of people are. And I think education is going to be the key. People just don't know. They just don't understand what's going on. All right. Let me see. Let me get to my next call. Shout out to everybody that's in here. 275 live. All right. Shout out to Truck My Ad for the donation. Says great caller, so gracious and humble. Let's get to 512 unit line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Honest Abe from the great state of Texas.
All right, Honest Abe, what's happening?
Hey, man. I just wanted to see if you had been following this Boy Scout story.
I think I've seen the story today. I've not been following it, but I think I saw like a headline. Are they going bankrupt?
Well, it looks like they're thinking about filing for bankruptcy. And I have to admit that I'm probably biased on this particular subject because I've been involved in Scouts since I was a kid. My kids are involved in Scouts. One of my daughters is a camp director at a Boy Scouts camp. So it kind of like hits a nerve for me, but it looks to me like for the last maybe almost 10 years that the Boy Scouts have been getting Me Too'd to death with lawsuits. I mean, there's one lawsuit that's happening right now, which is leading to this whole filing for bankruptcy thing, to where there's 4 former Scouts that are claiming they were sexually abused back in 1974, and now they have filed a class action suit against the Boy Scouts. So there's all these lawsuits of sexual misconduct, or however you want to categorize it. And to me, it looks like they're making the Boy Scouts a piggy bank, to where, because the Boy Scouts seem to have a reputation of just settling these cases and trying to move on. But the lawsuit, there's like, it's kind of multifaceted problem, because there was basically about 25% of Boy Scout membership was Mormons. And because of the rule changes, all this social justice war, the leftist thing that have been leaning on the Boy Scouts, was just kind of getting to my point of like, to me, the Boy Scouts is like one of those bastions of like Americana, you know, like people like to say Scouts honor and that stuff, but some of those people haven't ever actually been in the Boy Scouts and understand what the program is, but it still is a piece of Americana, and it's being destroyed by these leftists that just want to eat it to death. And it's bothering me because I have a son that's, you know, I'm a Scout leader, and I have a son that's hopefully going to eagle out before the program is destroyed. I was just kind of wanting to pick your brain on what you thought of maybe, or if you saw any of like the leftist agenda trying to eat the Boy Scouts organization.
Well, it's a lot going on. I think there's different people or different organizations that have motives to see the Boy Scouts be eliminated. The first thing is that weren't they trying to change their name to just Scouts and keep the boy out of it?
Right.
Now,
that was the thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was another point. I'm glad you brought that up, because the Girl Scouts pressured the Boy Scouts to change their name. So they did change the name, and now the Girl Scouts are going back and suing the Boy Scouts again because they still have Scouts in their name.
Yeah, that's crazy. You see, the thing is, from what I hear, is that you got a lot of Girl Scouts that are going to the Boy Scouts because they don't like the Girl Scouts. All they're doing is selling cookies, but they want to be getting into the outdoor stuff and crafting. They don't want to just be cookie sellers. If they want to do that, they can just go work a job in the mall or something. Why do that? Like, That's not what they want to do. So they want to go to the Boy Scouts, and the Girl Scouts is losing revenue and members because of that. So they go over to the Boy Scouts. Now you got the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, and a little bit of a beef, that could be part of the reasoning why Boy Scouts is being targeted because of business competitors, i.e. the Girl Scouts. Then you have people that want to cash on this whole Me Too movement. Oh, it's an easy target. Boy Scouts, they're going to settle, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now, there could be some legitimate cases, but who knows what's real anymore. Nowadays, you could say anything, and it's up to the individual that is being accused to prove himself innocent.
Right. Well, it's like I said, that particular case that I brought up with the Scouts from 1974 said that they were abused by a Scout leader. I'm like, that was 44 years ago, man. Like,
right.
It just reminds me of this whole like Brett Kavanaugh thing, to where like they can just say anything and the Scouts get all this bad press, and then our numbers still dwindle, and the program is being eaten from the outside and the inside, because now they're settling these cases, and the membership's going down. It's just a bad overall view. I got into an argument on Facebook with somebody yesterday that just wanted to say, wanted to relate the Boy Scouts to like the Catholic Church and all that stuff. I'm like, man, I've been in this stuff my whole life, and I've never seen any of those kind of situations. And the Scouts have very strict rules of what they call too deep leadership, to where no adults are supposed to be ever single alone with any Scout ever. So it's like, what are we going to do? I don't know. It's just frustrating for me, because it just, for me, that's just, the Scouts are an example of how Americana is being eaten alive by leftist propaganda and just viciousness.
Yeah, I agree. It's really unfortunate, but hopefully the Boy Scouts will be able to get out of this. But it's kind of just the climate of the country, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah, man. I agree. I just wanted to lay that out there and put a little insight on that from somebody that's kind of inside the organization a little bit. And I just want to say, bless your heart for what you're doing, man. I really appreciate you. I stumbled across you a couple of months ago, and I've been watching you ever since, man.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you for your support. I thank you for your call as always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Peace, brother.
Peace. All right. Shout out to the caller. I thank you all for being here. Most certainly appreciate you. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. I really appreciate you. All right. AJ, I see you in the chat, man. You said you want to call about the wage gap. Yeah, go ahead, man. Call in. Let me know your area code that you're calling from, so I can know to patch you in. I'll try to get you in as soon as I can. And who do we got? All the super chatters. I think we got everybody. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. I really appreciate you guys. You help out a whole lot. We got a little while longer, a little less than an hour, but I'm going to keep on rocking. Let me see. What else we got? The Gender Scouts. That's unfortunate, man, because, the Boy Scouts, I think my man Charlie Kirk was the Eagle Scout too. So, it helps out a lot of people develop skills, especially nowadays. You got these boys, man, they're needing more of these outdoor type skills more than ever. You got guys that can't even change a tire. I mean, you got guys that they're 30 years old, they can't tie ties, they can't change the tire. They don't really know how to use screwdrivers. Nobody has a toolbox in their house. It's like, what are we doing? You got to be able to survive a little bit on your own. Yeah, and the wage gap. Yeah, I like to hear a discussion about that for sure, because there is none in reality. But the way that the media will try to spin it, they'll try to say there is one, but there is not. All right, let me answer my next call. I don't see AJ talking about his area code, but let me answer this next call. 702, you're on the line, my speaker to. I had 702. I don't know what happened, but let me get to my next one. All right, Nolo King, what's happening?
Well, hey man, what's up? Just had a Christmas dinner with the Vietnamese. How are things with you?
Oh, everything's good, man. Did you have somebody that good foe? Or was it
No,
like American?
we've had three types of dinner. So we just had like just Western stuff like duck and all that.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, and I just turned on ABL, and I noticed you were talking about the Boy Scouts, which is a shame. Yeah, them going bankrupt or something.
Yeah, I think they're on the verge of bankruptcy right now.
Even that speech with the urban development, when Trump had all those, the founder of BET and all that, I think one of the guys mentioned, I keep forgetting his name, the bald guy, he spoke last, and he was talking about being in a single-parent home.
Tim Scott.
And that, yeah, I really enjoyed his speech, right? Because me personally, I also grew up in a single-parent home. And there are a lot of things that over time you realize, man, if I had a dad, I would have known this. So it's a shame. Like, in Zimbabwe, they didn't have stuff like Boy Scouts, so
right.
It's a shame that a lot of boys, they're not going to be learning all these things. They're going to be learning SJW stuff. Hopefully it doesn't get as bad as it is in Canada, where they're basically poisoning the mind of children and teaching boys that if they're hyperactive, you got to take all this medication. You can't be a little boy. You can't be adventurous. You know what I mean? Be emotional, care about people, all that stuff. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is. But hopefully they're able to get through this because they're facing this right now, but it could turn around. So we'll see. Yeah. And hopefully, even if they do go bankrupt, hopefully they'll still be able to live on as a company and provide a good service for these kids out here.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's other stuff like karate. That's one of my biggest regret in life. My mother said, "Hey, you want to do some karate?" And as a little boy, I was like, "That's really lame." And I look at other boys who've taken these things, and they're more balanced. They have peace. It's just good discipline. It's a shame that they made it all political, having girls. I guess you think maybe they did that out of desperation to open up you know what I mean? They could see that they weren't making as much, or do you think it's the actual having girls in there that ruined them? I'm not sure. I haven't read much about it.
What you mean as far as the Boy Scouts is concerned? Why they let girls in?
Yeah, I'm saying, do you think involving girls and it not making it exclusive to boys is part of the reason they went out of business, or did they do that as a reaction? They noticed that, okay, things are going downhill. Maybe if we have girls come in, we can have more revenue. I'm not entirely sure why they're closing down.
Well, I think they're closing down because they're getting a bunch of lawsuits hitting them for a bunch of money, and they may not be able to actually cover it, so they're trying to go bankrupt, or it could be other things. But as far as the girls coming in, there was a demand because the girls were not happy with the Girl Scouts.
Oh, I see.
Because, with the Girl Scouts, all you're really doing is selling cookies.
Yeah.
So, okay, Thin Mints and all that is good, but a lot of these girls, they want to do some of the things that the boys are doing. They want to go out there and craft and, be out in the woods. They don't want to be just selling cookies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man. Well, it's good talking to you. I just thought I wanted to know more about the Boy Scout stuff. I'm full. Sorry, I'm just babbling on. Had a lot of food, and I wish you all happy holidays. Oh, sorry about the guns there. I know not everyone is Second Amendment. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's all good, man. You in a safe space right here, man. So don't even worry about it.
Man, good night.
All right, now. All right, thank you to my man No Look King for the call as always. Definitely appreciate him. Yeah, you in a safe space right here, boss. I think we all gun lovers. Thank you to everybody that's in here. I appreciate your CS. I'm trying to keep the stream, going as well as it can, improving, doing different things. That's what I always like to do. 1,000%. 702, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Mark.
All right, Mark, what's happening?
Hey, nothing much. Just talking about your stuff tonight. I definitely agree with your last callers about the Boy Scouts of America. It's funny hearing Nolo King talk about how he regretted not doing karate because I actually regret not doing Boy Scouts. I think that's like one of my biggest regrets. They tried to get me into that, and I was like, something just said no. You hear all those stories, and you kind of walk away from church or walk away from the Scouts or anything like that. And that's why I never understood people that want their kids to be actors, because I was like, that's almost like asking for trouble,
Oh, yeah. You got these child actors out there on the set, and then so many things that they're involved with. It's like, wait a minute, man. Like, what I'm seeing right here on screen looks to be a little inappropriate. So I can imagine what's happening behind the scenes.
Right. And what was I? Sorry, I'm getting interrupted. Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about like leadership programs and people don't have toolboxes or anything like that. And Boy Scouts of America, Victor last week talked about, the attack on masculinity and especially black men. Well, the Boy Scouts was kind of a mentorship program to raise leaders. Many leaders in our government have come from that program, and I definitely suggest your caller to go ahead and graduate from that Eagle program because that's what we need. We need more Trumps out there. And, Trump went to like a military academy because he had discipline problems in high school or middle school or whatever. And, this is the one by one, these institutions, they're being taken off. And the reason is because they don't want something like a yellow vest in France. They don't want an American uprising. They want to start taxing your text messages and taxing you with Obamacare. So you're paying for things like, your tax dollars all of a sudden are going to subsidize the Soros Foundation or Antifa or illegal immigration or abortion or gay pride parades or transvestite school kids and wars that benefit other countries and harm us,
Yeah, that was a lot. But yeah, you're right, 100%.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit hyped up on coffee, and I came from like a Christmas gig too. I'm also coming down off of adrenaline. I actually saw OJ.
You saw the OJ, the Juice, Orenthal,
yeah.
Really?
Yep.
What was he doing? He was just hanging out.
Yeah, he was leaving like a place that's like a local wine bar, kind of. I'm sure he was getting food, and he came out with like 3 or 4 guys. And, he was just, he seemed kind of happy. He was like coming my way. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope he doesn't have a knife. I'm just joking. He seemed like the nicest guy, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, he looks amazing for his age. I mean, he hobbles around. Those knees probably aren't holding up too well. But I'm telling you what, he looks awesome.
Yeah, the knees are like paper mache at this point. He played football for a long time. The knees ain't no more good. But, yeah, he still looks great. I mean, OJ's got to be like over 70, or close to it. So yeah.
Yeah. But he looked good, and he had this great attitude, and people were taking pictures with him. But it's like, man, if I was serving him at a steakhouse, I'd be like, "Here's your knife, sir," and I just run.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. As for the Obamacare thing and these text messaging taxes and things like that, it's like it bothers me because I've seen these clips after NAFTA and after Ross Perot talked about the giant sucking sound, and you had a caller talk about, the depressed communities, so you have the urban renewal program, but then he talked about West Virginia, and there's, closed factories and steel mills and coal miners. You could go right down the list. The USA is the only country that industrialized, was the envy of the entire world, and we're the first one that deindustrialized, and we're a post-industrial nation. No other country was this dumb.
Right. Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah. And then I saw something, I don't know how accurate I am on this, but I saw something strange like China was forbidding the use of Apple iPhones being sold.
I think I heard something about that, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because that could be because of the Huawei situation. Have you been following that?
The what situation?
Huawei. It's a phone manufacturer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it could be because of that. Because it's like, okay, now you want to get dirty. Now you want to, basically kidnap one of our people. And the thing about China, if you don't, I know you probably know, but to anybody that doesn't, it's a communist country. So business and government are linked. So imagine if Mark Zuckerberg is who he is right now, but we're in a communist country, he would be like the equivalent of a cabinet member in the Trump administration. Imagine if China were to detain him over some Iran sanctions. That'd be a problem.
Yeah, it would. And I don't know the real score, but it would be pretty rich if, the greedy corporatists went over there to have access to this amazing Chinese market. But now China went from the age of Mao in the 60s, did have their great leap forward thanks to Western capitalism, and all of a sudden, what if they were, there's your Huawei phone, cool. And then that now that they know how to copy and reverse engineer everything, they're just be like, hey, we have no more use for you, Mr. American company. I know you want access to our markets, but now we make it cheaper than you, and we have a better product than you, and goodbye, and we have a market 10 times bigger than your middle class to cater to. So what do we need you for? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, hey, that's yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And how is that Huawei phone?
Oh, it's great, man. Like, my thing is I refuse to buy any more Apple products. I had Apple products for a long time because I was doing graphic design. So when I was in college, we used these iMacs. They were brand new at the time. This is like 2004, 2005. I'm like, okay, these are fantastic. For a long time, I was using like Windows phones. Windows products. But then when I went to Apple, it just made more sense from a design point of view. But the problem is when Steve Jobs died, Apple died too. And their products just took a turn for the worse. And everything wants to be together. It's like this walled garden, the Apple Watch, you got to have the iPhone, and the iPhone, you got to have the iMac, and you couldn't upgrade it. So I just decided to not be with them anymore. And they're too expensive. And I've been hearing about Huawei. And I heard some information. They're talking about, they put spyware in there. But they're all made in China. So if China wanted to spy on you, they can do it through your iPhone. I mean, like they have 1 million employees in China at Foxconn that produce your iPhone and iPad and everything. No cell phones are made in the USA. So I wasn't really worried about no kind of spyware on my phone. I got it. It works perfectly. No problems.
Good commentary, very, very sharp. I'm not familiar with Apple products. I was so tempted. I know they were when the internet started and YouTube first started and everything, that they absolutely were the best for multimedia and for artists and things like that. And as for spyware goes, I heard like Apple either sued or pulled their ads from Bloomberg for putting that picture of some dude's fingertip. And they showed a spyware microchip that was smaller than a grain of rice, maybe even a third of the size. It was more like a grain of salt. And it was on the tip of this dude's finger, and it was like China is spying on you. And I guess Apple got really defensive and vindictive about it. They got all uptight. They got butthurt about it,
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, I don't even really buy into all this stuff. I just get the best phone for me for the best price. This phone was $250. Now, an iPhone of equivalent specs probably cost you like $800. Why pay that for what? It's the same thing. Without the restrictions of the Apple software, because it's on Android.
Yeah. There's no reason not to, especially like, quite frankly, it sounds like it seems like Apple and our government is more, they want the spy data more than the Chinese do.
Correct.
It seems like what's that?
I said correct. And they're going to use your social media platforms to do the spying more than anything else. You don't got to worry about no chip in your phone. You got to worry about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc.
Yeah. It seems like China was just a loophole to the argument to engage in the spying. And like you said, all the cell phones are made overseas. You know that they sell over 1 billion cell phones a year?
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, because that probably accounts for like your smartphone, like your track phones, $20 from 7-Eleven. Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, and to think that the USA doesn't even get a tiny slice or cut of that business, and that's where Trump and his urban council, who knows what he can do, but even to get a little cut of these markets would be a huge gain for our post-industrial nation that doesn't, do much anymore. And they say eventually, drones themselves, little mini drones and stuff, will be as common as the cell phone. Can you imagine?
I mean, they're already talking about having like insect drones. They got like little prototypes out there that are pretty big and recognizable, but we're in the very beginning of it. Wait till technology gets more advanced in like 5 years. You'll have microscopic drones all over the place you can't even see. So you're thinking you think you're doing something behind closed doors or where nobody can see you, but they can see you all the time. But I'm gonna get to a few more calls, man. Thank you for the calls always. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
Shout out to my man Mark for the call. Always appreciate him. Yeah, these drones are getting super sophisticated. the cameras, even the cameras on the phones now were just, it's like, it's to the point now where the cameras are more than, back in the day, film cameras. Matter of fact, I was watching Vlad. Shout out to Vlad. I was watching him today. He was talking to Bill Duke. And Bill Duke said that he was in this movie, I think last year or a couple of years ago, that was filmed with iPhone 8s with no lighting, just natural light. When I say no lighting, I mean no artificial light, like no lighting crew coming in there trying to make sure everything was right. Just natural light, like how you be outside. Okay. Yeah, people talking about Huawei phones got bugs. It's like, if Huawei has spyware in it, then so does Apple. They're made in the same place. How could they not have, if China really wanted to spy on you through your phone, they could do it. They don't have to, hide it in one particular brand of phone. All the phones made over there. No phone is made in the USA. So how can you quality control all the phones that come out? The only kind of phone that you really could probably trust a little bit is a BlackBerry. That's why I had Blackberries for a long time. The problem with BlackBerry is that you can't really. The Blackberries I had were on the BlackBerry OS, which did not have the applications I needed. They got new Blackberries with the Android operating system, but now you're on Android, which is wide open. So it is what it is. It's not wide open, but it's more susceptible to be open than the BlackBerry OS. Nico, what's happening?
Uh-oh. Hey, Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. My phone, my internet's down, so I'm actually doing this on mobile network. But by the way, I know you've probably been talking about Boy Scouts and the masculinity. Well, sorry for using women's hair products.
It's all good, man. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, but anyway, so I just want to say this really quick. Have you actually heard what's happening in Germany right now?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so by the way, in Germany, they, here, you want to see? Here, say hi.
Dog wanted to get on camera right quick. That's all that was.
Right. Anyway, so I just want to say this is that, so basically in Germany right now, what's happening in the school system at elementary level is that, the schools are actually teaching elementary school students to snitch on their parents if they're assumed to be right wing.
Wow. That's crazy. Now, my question would be, what would happen if somebody was discovered to be quote unquote right wing? And how do they even follow through with that? Are they going to investigate? Like, what's going to be the actual result?
That's one thing I'm not really sure about. But it says that. But also they're also saying that anyone who has a woman who has her hair tied in a braid and or wearing a traditional dress, she's suspected of nationalism.
Wow, that's crazy.
Hey, I mean, I've had my hair braided a couple times, believe it or not. But that's probably a whole nother story. It kind of reminds me of this. You remember how they're trying to quote unquote stop nationalism because it might revive Nazism. You know what I find really ironic? These people who are trying to blackmail people because they're on their opposition. So I was actually reading this book on Nazism that was given to me by my mom's boyfriend because he actually has a lot of manifestos and a lot of books and that kind of stuff. And I actually read one of this that it says that basically Nazis, when the Nazis assumed power, I mean the real Nazis from the 1930s, believe it or not, that's what I'm talking about. So the Nazis, they were actually allowed to beat their opponents who were assumed to be on the opposition out in the open street.
Wow.
I'm not going to show you the book because it has a swastika on it, and therefore you might be...
Yeah, that might be an issue. Yeah.
I'm not going to show it on camera. But that's what it says. So really, let that sink in.
Yeah, that's
Same thing with the in America.
You said what now?
Same thing with Antifa. Most of the true political violence, how it's state sponsored. because you beat your opponents because they're assumed to be Nazis. In other words, your true opposition.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're projecting. They want to talk about the people that they're beating up are the Nazis, but I can't really tell. It seems to be the other way around.
And really, isn't it also ironic how they're trying so hard to what's happening in the European Union? How they're trying so hard to snuff nationalism, yet they're beating their own civilians, especially what's happening in France right now because of. I mean, heck, you see a lot of these EU tanks that are out in the streets in Paris actually hosing the Yellow Jackets.
Right.
Right, but that's probably all I gotta say. I just wanted to share some insight right there. So there was another thing I want to share, and this might be another. Before I get to my other point, I just want to say this. I've vaguely seen about what happened with. I've heard this a lot in a lot of these channels. I usually watch about Trump, about the Oval Office meeting with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi.
What about it? Like that fight or whatever, the little argument they had?
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of a gangster rapper who raps about going to prison when he actually never been to prison, and they brag about how tough they are. Or these wannabe gangsters that brag about how tough they are, and yet they never been to prison. But yet when you go to prison for yourself, you're not really tough, aren't you?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, because he was able to display what they're really all about in front of those cameras when it was unexpected.
Yeah, and you notice how it's crazy how they talk trash about Trump, and they smear him constantly. They smear him on camera. They smear him in front of their audience. And what happens when they meet? And look what happened when they actually met him face to face.
Yeah, and that whole all that went away. It was all gone.
Yeah,
then.
Yeah, you can see how it seemed like they were really backed in the corner right there.
That's right.
And okay, so that's all I wanted to say, but I want to get to my main point. It was a really interesting point. This was an actually very interesting video by Tim Pool about these useless college degrees.
Yeah, that's a big issue. A lot of people going to college, racking up debt, and underwater basket weaving, lesbian dance theory, useless stuff.
But let me say something. You know how people, it's also this fact about immigration. Did you notice? Did you notice with these? Here's a correlation between getting up against American college students going for these completely useless college degrees, and yet at the same time, people who are applying for citizenship take over these high level positions. Because I'm saying this based on my own experience. I have some. My mom actually has relatives who are actually immigrating to this country. Some of them still are immigrating to this country, well, legally, by the way. But I actually do have a cousin here. She actually when she actually got her citizenship and she legally applied here, she actually became a real estate agent. Most people in my mom's family, even those who come immigrate here, they actually take high skilled jobs.
Right. That's a very good point.
So I mean, really, it's been. I mean, really, just think about it. How these people? It's kind of ironic how these are the same people you see. They talk about, oh, we should open the doors for these people. But what happens when you're put in that position yourself? When you're trying to get this high level position or even a low skill position, and then you're almost competed out of the market.
Exactly. I mean, that's why Trump is trying to reduce the legal immigration as well as legal immigration, because you got too many people coming over competing for some of the same skilled jobs and resources. It can be a big problem. We're a rich country, but we don't have endless resources.
I understand that, but what if with these oversaturated market of these liberal arts degrees, it makes the competition a lot easier for people for newly arrived immigrants.
You're right about that. It does make it easier, 100%. So it makes sense for people to be steered in those directions, because that opens the door for the immigrants, legal and illegal, to come in, because they're going to say, hey, there's not enough skilled people to come in and do this work. You got all these liberal arts degree people that don't have the skills necessary to complete the task. Makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I do understand this might be a very unpopular statement to you and a lot of your viewers, but I just want to give some insight.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I understand.
I mean, you got people going for these liberal arts degrees, but then at the same time, people are probably going to beg for these people are probably beg for, but at the same time, people need people to fill up these high level positions.
Absolutely.
But that's pretty much all. That's something right there. And I just want to say is that because my mom's Filipino, and there's also an ironic thing is that you always hear this thing about white privilege, and they say the whites are very privileged. And the funny thing is that Filipinos are actually the highest earning ethnic group in America.
Hey man, that's that's really interesting. People talk about the white man is a supreme being, but that's not necessarily the case. People make a lot of money here in America. It's all about your work ethic. It's all about what you bring to the table. It's all about your skill. But thank you for the call as always, Nico. Definitely appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and really quick before I head out, I mean, I want to say this about these affirmative action programs. I mean, the reason why it should be repealed is basically based on this old saying: you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it.
There you go. Well said.
But that's pretty much all I got to say right now. I'll let you go.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
Shout out to my man, Nico. I definitely appreciate your call, boss. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with immigration is serious, but, you got all these liberal arts degrees, people getting pushed to those particular majors. It could be done on purpose. They're out here, no skills, can't do anything, can't even, change a light bulb, and you're bringing in legal and illegal immigrants, abusing visa systems for people to come over and do simple tasks when the people that are here, that are born and raised here, are not able to do it because they were steered in a direction which intentionally put them at a disadvantage skills-wise. 334, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, yo, what up, son?
What's going on? Who am I speaking to?
Oh, my name's Mike, son. Mike.
All right, Mike, what's going on?
Man, I'm chilling, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm down here, just moved down south, from New York. And, I'm down here, I'm saying? It's kind of crazy down here because, it's totally different from up there where I'm from, And, it's like mad crazy, man.
All right, how is it different?
Well, you know what I'm saying? It's like, these white folks got down here, they got it crazy down here, son. You know what I'm saying? And they got it real crazy down here. And I don't know, what part where you from and how you do it, but I mean, it's just crazy down here, man. I'm down here going to school at the school down here, and I mean, these folks down they going crazy, man.
I mean, but tell me what's happening though. Like, what's crazy? Give me an example.
Well, put it like this, son. Put it like this, son. You know what I'm saying? I'm going, I'm going to the, to the store, son. And, I get to the store. You know what I'm saying? I see the white lady. You know what I'm saying? And she clenches her purse. You know what I'm saying? She clenches her purse like I'm a robber. Like I'm gonna take her purse. I ain't gonna take your purse. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, son?
Okay, so is that all that happened? One lady got scared and she clenched her purse. That's it.
No, that ain't it, son. Let me tell you the other stuff, son.
Give me something. Give me something that's really major. Give me a real big event that happened.
Okay, all right. I'm riding down the street one day, son. Riding down the street, son. Pull up to the light. Guy looks over me. You know what I'm saying? White guy looks over at me, man. You know what I'm saying? He just looks at me. He calls me a Hispanic Negro.
He said Hispanic Negro.
That's what I'm saying, son.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, son. You feel me?
I mean, I'm saying like the things that you mentioned and seem kind of, not really that major to me. I mean, I'm thinking somebody about to get shot. You might have got your house ran in. I'm seeing some real basic stuff here, man. I'm not really seeing things that will make you say that it's crazy.
So let me tell you what they do. Let me tell you what they do. The dude, stay behind me. Stay behind me. The apartment building right behind you, man. Right behind you, man. He goes, he hangs the Confederate flag, hangs it right on the balcony, man. You know what I'm saying? So I go back there to take a swim, you know what I'm saying? This summer, go out and chilling. And he had the flag, you know what I'm saying? And he comes out, he's throwing something, come on, son. I mean, you saying that this stuff don't exist, man. Come on, man.
Okay, so he put the flag out there. Did the flag hurt you?
That's what I'm saying, son. You feel me?
Okay, so, okay, he put the flag out there. Did the flag hurt you? Okay, so, he put the flag out there. Did the flag hurt you? Okay, so, okay, he put the flag out there. Did the flag hurt you? Okay, so, okay, he put the flag out there. Did the flag hurt you?
see it, man.
I'm saying, but did it hurt you though? Like you saw it, but did it hop off the pole and attack you?
No, it didn't. But you know, so I started to go over there and take it down and dry off with it. You know what I'm saying, son? But you know, it's all good. Cause I see you want to defend these folks, man. I mean, what's up with that, son?
I think that you like it down south. I mean, why aren't you back up north? Hello?
I just told you, man. I came out to get education, son. I came out to get education, man.
Okay, so where you go? Are you in college? Where you go?
I go Auburn University, Montgomery, man.
Okay, but why can't you get an education somewhere up north? There's plenty of colleges up there in the Northeast. Why go all the way down to Alabama from New York?
Because I wanted to, son. I mean, what's wrong with that? Why can't go where I want to go, son? Why I gotta go to New York? You know what I'm saying? Why I gotta stay up? It's cold up there. I want to see what it's like down here, down in the South. You know what I'm saying, son?
Okay, so you must like it. You're getting an education. You like it down there.
But
you could transfer.
But I want to be called a Gwee. I want to be called a Gwee-boy and the brown and the wet back and the Negro and all that. You know what I'm saying? You know that ain't cool, son.
Hey man, you can go to New York and have fun up there, but you like it in Alabama. I like it down here in the South too. It's warm a lot. You know, it's not really no big deal. Crime is less. You know, just hang out down here, man. Don't worry about the Confederate flag. You know, get you one. Matter of fact.
Man, come on, man. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you, man? Are you crazy, man?
Hey, man, I'm all good.
Man, come on, man. Come on, man. I listen to you all the time, dude. All the time, dude. And you mean to tell me, man, that you gonna tell me to go get a Confederate flag, man?
Yeah, go get it, man.
Fly it outside my balcony, man. I mean, know what they did to the people back then, man? I don't even know what they, I'm an immigrant, man. My folks, they immigrants, man.
Where they from? Where they from?
Guatemala, man.
Oh, that don't sound Guatemalan to me. That sounds like Cuban or something, but go ahead.
Man, look, I'm Guatemalan mixed with Puerto Rican, okay?
That's an interesting mix. How do your family get along? Because I know people from Mexico, Guatemala, they're not really too fond of Puerto Ricans.
Okay, so what about black people and the white people when they get married? What you mean, son? Same logic, son. See what I'm saying? Same logic, man. You can't say that. Or
I'm just asking.
Married to a Israeli or something, man. You know what I'm saying? A Jew being married to a Palestinian. Come on, man.
Hey, I was just asking, man, but I think I'm going to get to a few more calls. This was an interesting thing. Have fun down there in the South, man. Don't worry about the Confederate flag. Get you one. Y'all can be twins. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
You cooling, man. You cooling, man.
Yeah, all right. Have fun. All right. I don't know who that was. That was just really random. Shout out to the Guatemalan. Sound like Tony Montana. Yeah, that don't sound like it's Guatemalan at all, man. That sound like, a New York Dominican, a New Yorican Dominican accent. All right, AJ, what's going on?
What's up? I'm a little drunk. Just giving you the heads up. All right, I've been drinking my little pina colada, my little foo-foo drink. And my wife has been blasting you from the bathroom for the past hour and a half, so I had to take matters in my own hand and call in. So I don't know if this will qualify as a hot take, but I want your input on this. I'm of the opinion that the House winning the majority in this election will actually turn out to be really good for Trump in 2020, assuming that the far left base of the Democratic Party takes this just kind of YOLO impeach line, where they're just throwing out impeachments after impeachments in 2019. It's almost impossible that anything will actually go through the Senate. Okay, impeachments will go through on the House because they have the majority, but it's almost impossible that they'll go through on the Senate. And the same thing that happened to Bill Clinton in the 90s will, in effect, happen to Trump, with the media hoopla bolstering his base and almost making it look like he's the victim to propel him to win a lot of votes in 2020. And then essentially the undercards, all the Senate seats that would be open to win a lot more of those seats because Trump carries a shit ton of votes. Excuse my language. What are your thoughts on that? It's kind of a different way of looking at things, but I always try to think of things a little creatively and see if there's any kind of silver lining in this situation for those of us that are rooting for Trump in 2020.
Yeah, I had some of the same thought process because all they're going to do in the House right now is try to stonewall the best they can, and they're doing it right now with the with the border wall funding. Okay, so they're trying to stonewall right now, and they're going to try to do that all the way throughout. They're going to try to throw all this impeachment stuff out there. They're going to see people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, saying some silly things that don't make any sense. There's going to be infighting. You're going to have Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. That's going to be a disaster. She's 78 years old. Can she survive? I don't know. But either way.
And she got a partner here like a mofo. Never mind. Let me stop talking.
But yeah, so it's going to be kind of embarrassing for them in the next couple of years in the House. And the next thing is that there's nobody on the left that can really run against Trump. They're talking about putting Beto in there. Beto doesn't really want to run. And even if he did, he'd be like Howard Dean. You can't be screaming and stuff on the campaign trail. That's not really what you want to do. That's embarrassing. The average American is pretty conservative or kind of in the center. Don't really want to see some kind of animated fool like that. So Trump's going to be the incumbent. There's nobody on the left that can actually run against him and have a chance. And on top of that, the House is going to seem like they're very incompetent. People are going to vote more for Trump, and they're going to vote straight ticket. Therefore, people that are up for their Senate re-election and also the House are going to get a Trump boost because everybody's just going to vote straight down the middle. National election, big turnout. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and to your point, just two little data points. Like, it's common knowledge that the electorate is getting older, that the baby boomers are aging, and the elderly age of the electorate, or the elderly age of the population, shows up disproportionately high in presidential elections when you compare them to young voters. And the second thing is that I think a lot of people, especially a lot of conservatives that are panicking and think that, the liberals are coming to take over the world and all this stuff, fail to really respect the power of the incumbency. And just the notion that the dude is a sitting president gives him a significant edge if all other things are being equal. It's like if you were applying to a job, if you were a manager and you have two people that are applying to a job, and you have two guys that are exactly the same, and one guy has 4 more years of job experience in the same job that they're applying to than the other guy, you're going to give that guy the edge. And I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't think that people should be panicking as much as they are conservatives.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to get back and finish this drink. I'll be in the chat trolling as usual. Tell your mods not to ban me. And tell all the conservative snowflakes to chill out and go make themselves a drink.
I got you, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You got it, bud.
All right. Shout out to my man AJ for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call. All right. Story of Black Conservative. Kevin, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, ABL? How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Everything's good.
Oh, perfect. Previous caller made a lot of good points. A very great call, AJ.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about the 7-year-old who passed away.
Yeah.
So you had a great video today, and I mean, this just emphasizes why we need the wall. We need the wall. And I don't know why, folks like Turning Point USA, how come they don't talk about or they don't make noise about the wall? Now, that's a question for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if they talk about it or not, if they talk about it a lot, but they should if they're not talking about it a lot, because it's really important. Because the wall, that is so crucial to everything we got going on. You got to stop this flow of the drugs, the human beings that are being trafficked over the border, All of that's got to stop. So I have heard him talk about it some, but I'm not quite sure how much to talk about it. It definitely could be more for sure.
I wish Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, what's his name, Charlie Kirk. I wish they used all their loudspeakers and their large platforms to talk about the wall. Trump is a one. He's a one person. He's an individual. He doesn't have the power. He doesn't have he doesn't have the power to. I mean, yeah, he kind of has the power, but he needs his base. He needs people to stand up, to go out and go out in the streets and hey, speak up and say we need the wall. He can't do it by himself.
That's right.
Exactly, and I wish Turning Point USA would use its base and its large platform to gather people together and talk about that. Other than talking about prison reform, we don't need prison reform. I think prison reform it should be the last thing on the list. If not, it shouldn't even be on the list if you ask me. But we need immigration reform. We need the wall. It's really critical. We need that wall. And I don't know if people know how critical it is, but a lot of conservatives are just sitting back and like, just letting Donald Trump do the tweeting and just do it all on his own. He can't do it on. We need support. He needs support. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for the call as always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Thank you to my man Kevin for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, I mean, people have their opinions. Like some people say that prison reform ain't needed. Some say that the wall is not that important. I think that we need to be focused on both, really, because the prison reform, you got sentences that don't make any sense. You got guys that are spending a bunch of time in jail for weed, but then you got guys that are spending a small amount of time in jail for serious crimes, rape, aggravated assault, stuff like that. They should be spending more time in jail than weed. Just even out some of these sentences. And also, in some of these cities, they have too low of a sentence for certain crimes. All right. If you go in these metropolitan areas, you got guys getting out early on very serious crimes where they shouldn't be. So, yeah, I think it's important. And also the wall is very important as well. But one thing about the prison reform is that it's bipartisan. And you want to be able to get bipartisan things done, especially when they're not going to affect the country negatively. And also, one more thing about the prison bill is that it's only for the federal penitentiary. It ain't for the local city or state. It's only for the federal penitentiary. But let me get to my next call. 732, you on the line. Who am I speaking to? 732, I cannot hear you. Going once, going twice. Sorry, 732, gotta tighten up. All right, let's try this one more time. 732, can you hear me? Nope, sorry. I don't know what's going on, 732. I'm answering the phone, but it's not. Maybe your microphone is. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but shout out to Chuck in my ad who says great caller, so gracious, humble. That was earlier in the show. I'm not quite sure who that was, but thank you for your donation. Chuck in my ad, definitely appreciate you. Shout out to all the Patreon people that did not leave when Sargon of Akkad went on this tirade about Patreon being a bad place to be. I thank you all for still joining me. The podcast will be out tomorrow on Patreon. All right, let's get to my next call. 470, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Oh.
Is this Anthony?
This is Anthony.
You sound like it is. How you doing?
I'm good.
ATL calling in.
What's going on? What's happening?
I want to know what is your opinion on the 7-year-old girl getting killed. I just cannot believe it. This is wrong, and I don't know what's wrong with your man, Orange Man. It's so bad. I just pick all the orange M&Ms and the orange Skittles out and just throw them away.
The orange M&Ms.
But I want your opinion. I let them go. I want to know your opinion on this 7-year-old girl because this just is not right. These people are just wrong, and we can't have this.
It's unfortunate that she passed away, but I think the father is more to blame than anybody else. It ain't nobody else's fault here in America. When she got to America, they asked her right away, do you need any medical attention? The father said that he does not need any medical attention, nor does the daughter. And then later on, she becomes sick. They get her medical attention, and then they call for the ambulance, and then they call for the helicopter, bring her to El Paso, treat her, and unfortunately she dies. That's not the fault of the United States or Donald Trump. That is the fault of the father bringing her 2,000 miles and not properly feeding her or giving her any water.
So how you gonna blame the dad? I mean, how are you not gonna blame your boy Trump?
Hey, Trump ain't the
for
one
not
that
letting them in. I mean, just let them in and let them be part of our country. Because this is not right to have people at the border dying like. I just cannot believe this.
Trump ain't the one that decided to bring this little girl on a 2,000-mile trip without giving her food or water. Am I right or wrong? You got to agree with that. Come on now.
You right some and you wrong some. Because
where am I wrong at? Then?
Everybody wants a better life. I mean, everybody wants to improve. That's why we do what we do. We march, we pray, we do everything to make life better. And it's just not right for him to be as mean as he is. I mean, the way he was standing over the other little girl on the book. I mean, he's just a mean man. I don't understand how you, as a black man, can support someone like this. It's just not cool. I mean, what is wrong with you?
Hey, I know what's right for America, and that's all that really matters. All the other stuff is unimportant. I mean, the little girl dying is unfortunate, but that's not Trump's fault. That ain't our fault. You got to talk to the dad. You know, if you are not feeding the little girl or giving her any water for 2,000 miles, that's going to be a problem. That's really just that simple.
So what if that was done to you?
If that was under me, then I'd be
what
mad at my dad. It's like, come on, Dad, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. Give me a chicken tenders or something, man. Come on, man. Let's stop at get some taquitos or some tacos or something, man. Come on.
Anthony, let's be honest.
Let's get some churros from down the street.
We have Southern hospitality. We treat people kind, and if somebody's hungry, you feed them. That's what you're supposed to do. That was said in the Bible. Do you believe in God?
No response. I decline. I'm not religious. How about this? When they got to the border, they were giving food, water, all that right there. So what you want to do? What you want to set up shop in Mexico? You want the troops to go to Mexico and then set up little stores right there where you can get free food and water?
They can do something to help those people. They can bring food trucks, anything they need. I don't know, but it's just wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I just can't believe, I just might stop looking at your show. Just, I don't know. Just whatever you do, just tell Amazing Lucas I said, hey, bye.
All right, now. Shout out to the caller and shout out to my man, Amazing Lucas. Yeah, I don't know who that is. It could be anybody. That could be Lucas himself. Shout out to my man Lucas if you're watching. Big up to your boss. But yeah. Oh, and the God question. I think I do believe in the higher. I'm one of these guys. I'm one of these guys that is like a higher power. I don't really know about the organized, like who's God or what. That's a whole different ball of wax right there. That's a whole different conversation. All right. Shout out to 64 Pink 256 who says, Merry Christmas. Thank you for your support over the last year. Play Mobsters Players Revenge on iPhone and Android. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Alrighty. We got a little bit of time left. That's almost 11 o'clock. Hold on. I'll take this last call and then I'll wrap it on up. So one more call. 848, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
We got a little bit of time left. ABL, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. I
I called from the 732 number, but I don't know what was going on. My name's Darren Williamson. I'm a fellow content creator. I just had a question and then 2 observations. Well, I saw on your on your YouTube title it said Obamacare is unconstitutional. Could you explain to me how? Because I'm just trying to get ammunition because I'm in New Jersey and there's a lot of liberals over here, and I have some information, but I don't have. I need clarification on it.
Okay, well, a federal judge in Texas ruled it unconstitutional. So.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, I just wanted to explain something to you. Like, I feel as though being a conservative, I'm independent. I'm a conservative in New Jersey. It's really, really tough trying to explain. And I wouldn't even say to liberals, even to some moderate conservatives, Republicans, how Trump is doing this country right. I was just talking to somebody. I'm a musician in church. So you can understand how the emotional responses are within when I say I support Trump, and how I see Trump running this country is as a business. This country is a corporate business. This country is not how politicians have run it, as though they say one thing and do another. This guy is literally promising. He has campaign promises. And those campaign promises mostly he has, fulfilled. And, a lot of people on my Facebook look at the whole exchange between Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Trump as, Trump being a baby. But no, it's more so he is somebody who is going to stand his ground as a masculine man and, get his stuff done. A lot of people don't understand that when Obama wanted those people with DACA to come over and be legal and grant them amnesty, that he shut down the government just over that same issue. So I don't understand how we're so selective on Trump because we don't like him. But Obama did most of the same things, just in the opposite direction and in ways it wouldn't benefit this country. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but we all know what that is. It's simply because Trump is a conservative, and also because he is not a puppet. Obama was in there basically being told what to do. He was an employee. He's the kind of guy that looks at the world as, okay, I'm going to go work for this guy, work for that guy. But Trump is like, I'm working for the American people, and I'm going to do what's best. I'm going to lead from the front rather than being led by my strings on my back.
No doubt. One more thing I wanted to say: there really is no collusion. Because I mean, if you think about it, Trump's campaign was self-funded for the most part. I mean, he did get some campaign contributions, but for the most part, it was self-funded. So if he was self-funded, if his campaign was self-funded, why would he need help from a foreign power? So that's all I wanted to say.
Very well said. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great way to wrap up the show. Wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. Thank you all for being here. Most certainly appreciate you. You guys know I'll be back on Wednesday with another live show, and then a following Saturday. We're not going to intersect Christmas and New Year's the week after next, because I think the Wednesday show after Christmas, it'll be the 26th, and then the Saturday show will be the 29th. So we good money. Thank you all for joining. This, that, and the third. That's what my man said. Yes, right there. Man and woman. I don't want to misgender somebody by accident. But anyway, I'll probably be on O'Shea Duke Jackson's show tomorrow. Maybe it depends on what the topic is. The ABL podcast comes out tomorrow on Patreon. If you subscribe with $5 or more per month, you get access to it as each and every Sunday. And what else I got? I may do video tomorrow. There's a lot of topics on deck. We're talking about Obamacare being unconstitutional. And there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, the California text messages being taxed. They want to tax California text messages to pay for people that have low income. So you have a phone, you pay your bill, you do everything right. But if somebody can't pay their bill, then you got to pay for it. See, now we're getting into socialism. Now we're getting into communism, where how much money you make is totally irrelevant. What job you do is totally irrelevant. Your money, your means of production now belong to the state. That's not the right way to go. But that will be a wrap. Thank you all for joining. Most certainly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. It helps out a lot. And thank you to the moderators. You got Elijah Jean, Michelle A, Zealand Zen, Bill from the Hills, Omar Adams, Zardrell, Dina Jones, Pia Reeves, Zero Cool, Cynthia Webb, Protocol, Mark Anthony, Sushi Slayer, Dan Larkin, Bypass Shreves, Lucian Milo, Franz, my man, Catherine KT Payne. Thank you for what you do all the time. Definitely appreciate you. And that will be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.